We should be live now.
Okay.
So I'm just going to wait for it to pop up on the screen. Right. So, yeah, there we go. So, I am Sushikat, and I hope you've all had a fantastic day. And today we are here with, today we are here doing another live rant, or in this case, a bit more of a debate. And I'm joined today by someone that doesn't necessarily agree with me on all of the subjects that that we're going to be discussing, unlike previous rants. So, Miles, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, normally I have a person for that, but Miles Upsure here from LAN News, which is redundant. It's Liberal Agenda News. I was born in a little hamlet called Gooberton Harbor, Massachusetts. Did a stint at MSNBC as a correspondent, just very briefly. And I also write editorials for Salon.com. Then LAN picked me up, and next thing I know, I'm on the freeway and heading down to, well, actually, maybe I should let you get on with it. I could spend all evening giving you my backstory.
Yes, that's probably best. Although having some idea of where you're coming from is usually a good idea, particularly considering you're not like my normal guests who are
I'm
quite
leagues
often.
above, aren't I?
I was going to say that my guests usually are ideologically very similar to myself, so it's actually a great pleasure to have you on. And as someone that doesn't necessarily agree with everything that's being said, or if they do disagree, it's on minor points.
Well, it's a real thrill ride to be here. I live for the debate.
Well, I really enjoy debates, so this should be really interesting. And we did discuss a couple of the subjects before we started, just to sort of get a feel for, to try and get a feel for some of the things that we'll be discussing tonight. And I have linked the main articles that I'm bringing to the table in the description.
Now, my assistant was supposed to do that on my behalf, but she called off sick today, so.
Yes, I haven't actually been able to get your any links to any of the articles that you wish to discuss.
I'll have a hard talk with her.
Well, if she's sick, we can't really, we can't really blame her.
I suppose. That's probably another issue you and I won't see eye to eye on, but I'll go with what you're saying.
Well, I believe we actually got in first talking together because we were talking about various ways of stereotyping people, and I brought up an everyday feminism article.
Right.
I was like, that this is utter garbage, and you kind of, you didn't seem overly impressed with my analysis of it.
No, I wholly subscribe to the article.
So, if you wouldn't mind, I would quite like to read out the article, and we can actually have a little bit of back and forth regarding what we do agree with and what we don't necessarily agree with.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Go ahead and remember brevity. Well, I don't like long articles.
It's an everyday feminism article, so that they tend to not be very long.
I don't know if that was a slight or not, but do proceed.
Okay, so we do have a couple of people in chat. That's always nice to see.
Oh, good, the little people. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, these are some of my subscribers. So
video gamers, no doubt.
It's some of them, yes. I don't know whether or not some of the more political people will be coming into the stream or not, so I can't say for sure.
Well,
Um,
if they're your friends, I should hope not. But video gamers, for the record, are the bane of society. The next apocalypse will be started by titles like GTA and what for and whatnot.
oh, do you think that? Okay, let's actually discuss that. You know what? I'm going to hold off on the article
Okay.
because um, I've heard this argument a few times where they've said that things like GTA are promoting violence. They're going to be teaching kids how to shoot people, and
Oh yeah.
it's going to feel very video game esque, and they're not going to have the same kind of moral compass because they shoot people in video games, therefore shooting people in real life, or in the cases of GTA, it's like you can have sex with prostitutes and then you can like batter them to death and take the money back and stuff like that. So, you've said that you think that GTA is, you specifically named GTA as, something that people are going to end up destroying the world over. Could you please
Correct.
elaborate on that?
Well, sure. Take, for instance, your anecdote about having intercourse with a prostitute, subsequently killing her to get your money back. Well, that wouldn't even dawn on me. But if I spent a few hours with my head immersed in the GTA universe, wherever that takes place, suddenly I would have this moment, this light bulb would go off in my head that hey, I could go ahead and kill the prostitute, perhaps overdose her. I don't know if that's a thing in the game, but maybe you could overdose her and then take the money back. And I think that that's a slippery slope. Next thing you know, you're having sex with dead women. You're chopping up their body parts and leaving them around the city for some two-bit detective to track you down. You're writing sick letters to the police departments and to the local newspapers. Who knows where it ends is what I'm saying, and I know that Secretary Clinton had much to say about the video game industry, and frankly, I think she's right on the mark there.
I have just had a request from someone in the chat.
Mhm.
If if he can join in this stream, I believe that he does have some views that he can actually part in regards to this. So, would you mind me sending him the link to the Hangouts as well?
Oh, 2 versus 1. I can take it. I've taken much worse. You know, I was in war zones.
Okay.
Oh, well, you know what? It's telling me that I cannot do that. I don't have permissions. Apparently, you haven't given me the proper authority.
Yeah, only my moderators can send the links. I'll leave it up to him as to whether or not he joins because he says he has some time, but that implies that he doesn't have lots. So
Well, I'd be happy to enlighten him and field any questions he wants to throw my way. So I encourage anyone to get in the debate or go ahead and ask a question in the chat. But yeah, what can I say? Video games. Now, how often do you see a game centered around the Old Testament? Now that I'm telling you, would be a fair game, and I'm not one for religion either. But I think a good game with a moral compass is perhaps what's best for the youth of America. And frankly, I think the last Democratic presidential candidate would solidly agree with me.
well, I have actually seen games based around the yeah, that Mark there is saying Doom. Yeah, I have seen games based around the Old Testament. Um, they tend to be a lot older and they never sold quite so well. But
Now,
yeah,
what if they were the only games, though? Then they would sell.
not necessarily. It depends on what people like. I mean, if people don't like the religious games, then they won't buy them. So even then, it's not necessarily going to going to sell.
Well, I think teenagers are feeble-minded. They're impressionable. So if you saturate the market with good games and you, well, consider contraband. Uh, that's a fair term that I'd like to see applied to games such as GTA. I'm not even sure what GTA stands for, but
You do know that if you ban certain things, they actually become a lot more popular. A lot more people will talk about them because they've been banned, so that would spark a lot more people's interest in them. And in that case, it will end up causing people to actually want to go out and play the game.
oh, that tired old argument. Well, I disagree. I think that if you ban things, um, you stand a decent chance of the youth not even catching wind of them in the first place. Now, how many kids do you know that could tell you what ingredients go into an old fashioned? Well, they don't know because they can't drink.
Well, I can drink, and I don't know the ingredients that go into an old fashioned.
Well,
um, but no, it's a valid argument for the simple reason we've seen it happen. Evil Dead got banned in many countries, and it was one of the most popular movies going. Uh, the Sex Pistols, their albums got banned, and again, they became incredibly popular.
Sex Pistols, I don't like the name. The Evil Dead, is that title with Bruce Campus? Frankly, that kind of disturbing gore just paraded around. It does more harm than good. I'll leave it there. I mean, this goes all the way back to George Romero's crap, or Freddy on Elm Street.
I absolutely love George Romero's stuff.
Oh,
So
he's horrible.
yes,
I like
definitely. Like,
his ideology. I just don't like his works.
yes, definitely, Linus. God Save the Queen. It's one of the Sex Pistols albums,
That's
along
also
with Never Mind the Bollocks.
that's also the antithesis to the Brexit. Well, actually, no, it's hand in hand with the Brexit. God save the Queen. That's going to get your country in a lot of trouble. Wouldn't you rather we all throw our lot into one world government that can do better for everyone?
No, no, I wouldn't. And welcome to the welcome to the hangout there, Mark.
Is Mark a pug?
That's his pet.
Oh, okay. I was going to say he's adorable.
Yes, Sal is adorable.
Okay, I'm putting that in my notes.
In regards to Brexit, I actually voted to leave the EU.
That is insanity, in my humble opinion, which is usually, I shouldn't even say it's my opinion because, frankly, it's fact. If we had one global body, the UN on steroids, that would put an end to war and numerous other plagues, such as hunger. We could wrap our heads around that if we just had one world government. Borders cause wars, is what I'm saying.
So you think that having a single government for the entire planet and having anyone from any ideology being able to travel from one place to another would stop war, would stop the terrorism that we're actually facing in the West right now?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I feel that, as you say, people of different ideologies being able to travel, get to know each other, kick back a few of those old fashions I referred to earlier. I think it would break down barriers. And in the end, we could open a line of communication with those who share different ideas other than our own. And together we would find mutual kinship. And the rest, my friend, is a happy ending. I don't mean that in the Asian massage parlor parlance.
Hey guys, is this working?
Hey,
Yes, yes.
yes,
Hey,
I can hear you.
hey, Kat, how are
Um,
you? How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Mark, I'm Miles Upshure. Pleasure to meet
Nice.
you.
Right, nice.
Your mic is working, but it doesn't matter if it's working or not because I feel like we live in an age of such technologies that whether or not you're working is a non-issue.
So, what is the rant tonight? I'd love to get into it.
Okay, well, we're talking on various subjects. I have got a couple of links which are linked in the description of the rant itself, and I believe that Miles has a couple others,
I
but
do.
his assistant wasn't able to send them to me, so I wasn't able to link them in the description. I will do that as soon as I actually have them.
She had a Pride event last weekend, and she's still recovering.
Well, there was a couple of things I wanted to touch on real quick, if you guys don't mind. You were talking about GTA and violence in video games and how that's supposed to instill violence in other people.
That's right.
Look at what happened with Columbine and the Doom Strategy Guide. They actually cited the book for the game Doom. I believe it was Doom 2 back in the day, and blamed the game Doom on teaching the shooters in Columbine with tactics on how to clear a room and shoot people. And it turned out to be utter nonsense. I couldn't disagree more that video games make people violent. If anything, you vent. If anything, it's a release. If anything,
the thing that I've actually found regarding violence in video games is if you actually look at the statistics, the more violent and graphic and more realistic video games have become, the lower the aggression and violent attacks have been.
Off the player, I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more.
And the IQ. People that play video games, their IQ is damaged by playing video games. I don't know if you've seen those statistics, but they're out there. And those with a lower IQ are more prone to commit violent acts.
The statistics I've seen at least are that those that play video games or violent video games even have a much higher hand-eye coordination and are more creative mentally.
Hand-eye coordination, the better to shoot with. That's what I say.
Well, they're more creative mentally as well.
One of the things that in regards to video games is that they have actually been trying to use video games for older people that are suffering things like the early signs of onset dementia and stuff like that. Because it actually gets their brain engaged. It causes them to work out problems and increases their hand-eye coordination. And they found that people that play video games for, and I'm not necessarily speaking specifically violent video games at this point, but people that play video games for about 30 minutes a day, each day, tend to have healthier brains than people that don't.
And let's us forget, Otto, let's us forget that the video game industry is now the biggest entertainment industry in the world, and you don't see people run around killing and going nuts. You see that in third world countries.
Otto's not here. That guy's a prick.
I believe that Miles actually had an explanation for why he's using Otto's account.
Yeah, well, because it's mine. He's used me in 2 of his damn series already, and he's ran my good name through the mud.
I must have missed it.
Oh,
Um,
it was bad.
I believe he explained it to me off screen, but yeah, it's the automatic account is actually Miles's account. Uh,
That guy piggybacks on everything I do. You know, he's one of these, a lot of conservatives talk the talk, you know? Everybody off to work, everybody do their part. This whole jive is what I call it. But in the end, they're all just lazy sons of bitches that project this air of responsibility. You know, for instance, you know, the story is age old in terms of a liberal shacking up with an underage girl, and people just go nuts. Anthony Weiner this, Anthony Weiner that. Well, I'll tell you what's really offensive to me. A man that sits in church on Sunday and professes not to be well, you understand what I'm saying. He professes to be holier than thou, and then you catch him in some
I'm
relationship, some affair.
I'm really trying not to laugh right
Yeah,
now.
me too. It's got to
Do
be a
not
lot
laugh
of
at Miles Upshore.
it's got to be a lot of work, Otto. It's got to be a lot of work playing that side of it, playing that side of the coin. That's my idea, by the way.
But yeah, I'm actually really laughing because Miles, I don't know whether or not you know this, but Anthony Weiner actually blocked me on Twitter.
Wow.
Mark, do you remember? Do you remember when I asked you to make me that? I challenged you to use "Baby It's Cold Outside"
So
in a
much fun.
video.
Thank you so much for that, Kat.
I sent it
Yes.
to him, and he blocked me.
Oh, really? That is so awesome. Oh,
That is cruel and unusual. The man was hurting. He could have been the mayor of New York, for God's sakes.
Otto is going to get an Emmy for this. I'm telling you.
I was like,
That's so great.
Otto.
Mark,
I am so happy I was the weapon, Kat, that got you banned.
Not here. Also, is not here. This is Miles. You
Okay.
keep confused because
Yeah, Otto's in some back alley, you know, scraping up money for prostitutes. He's been playing too much of that Grand Theft Auto. Oh,
Miles,
it happens to us all.
Can I call you Chief O'Brien? Is that okay? Would that work?
Yeah. I like, as long as this isn't a play on Native Americans, as you say, Chief. You mean like in a police capacity?
Well, I mean like Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think anyone here really, apart from yourself, really cares too much about offense. So I think the only person
that's offensive.
That we don't actually care whether or not we offend people.
You said everybody but me. I don't like the cut of your jib there.
Well, I only assume that because you're a far left liberal.
Well, I'm not sure what emotions are. I'm a conservative, so.
See, now that's the problem.
I am actually center left, so. But
yeah. Oh, now see, then why? Then we should see eye to eye on some of these issues. Then.
Yeah, you guys should bully me.
That's right.
And Mark, I bully you all the time anyway.
I love it. I just love it.
So, yeah, I'm actually going to get back onto the subject that we were going to be talking about initially.
Okay.
I'm going to read out this article. I will have pauses and stuff like that, particularly as they talk about each way that stereotyping a bisexual person, yeah, how that feeds into rape culture.
It
so
does.
that we can actually discuss what's been said. Okay.
Okay.
Mark, you are more than welcome to stay and put your 2 pence in for this as well, if you wish.
By all means.
Good.
Okay, so yeah, the name of the article is 5 Ways Your Stereotyping of Bisexual People Feeds into Rape Culture. Now, for full disclosure on this, I am actually bisexual, so this was the reason why I was actually commenting on this to begin with. So yeah, so the beginning of the article. Now, I was hanging out with a friend and a guy we know on campus one night in undergrad. So, like many other straight cisgender guys, I fucking hate that word.
Love it.
He began asking details, questioning about my relationship with my girlfriend. Quote, have you always been gay? End quote, he asked. Quote, actually, I'm bisexual, end quote, I said. Unless I'm concerned about my safety, I'm usually upfront about my sexuality because dispelling myths about sexuality and its existence is important to me. Open bracket, I actually identify as queer, but I usually only say that if I'm ready to have a nuanced conversation about gender identity. End bracket. He immediately began asking me about threesomes. If I ever have one, if my girlfriend would be up for one, if I'd done one with a straight friend, female friend. It was clear that his hopes were to get me to agree to threesomes with him and literally any other woman. I felt gross and uncomfortable as soon as he said it. I was talking about sex and its complexities, threesomes included, with my sex-positive friends, who are respectful of my sexuality and who just want to engage in a conversation about our likes and dislikes. Consent is key in these conversations. They aren't meant to be a space to be judged or shamed, but to openly discuss the nuances of sex and sexuality. We're the only ones leading them, and we can stop them as soon as we feel uncomfortable. Although I didn't know it at the time, our conversation made me feel awkward because it was rooted in rape culture.
Whoa, wait, can I stop you right there? Why are we overcomplicating this? Why? Well, not you, Kat, but the article. Why are we overcomplicating just human beings and being offended for no reason?
I think it's easy. It's a complicated issue. I'll have you know there are 76 known genders.
Well, I think that I think for the fantasy people, there's more like 90 or something. Kat could give a better answer to that because she keeps up on this more. But yeah, what is rape culture? Because it doesn't exist.
Well, as far as I'm aware, rape culture doesn't actually have anything to do with rape. Like rape culture is basically sexualizing women.
Correct.
Like, yeah, so I don't know. It's like, oh my God, it's rape culture. It's like, well, no, it's not. And, you know, to use the term rape culture is to belittle the idea of rape.
No. It's to label it as it should be. Take for instance, the way I see it, having listened to Mark just briefly, I would rightly so say that he's definitely a Nazi. Okay.
Miles acts like I put the miniskirt on the girl. You know, I mean that I chose what she dressed as and wear your numbers.
You just didn't know it. See, that's the problem. People are subconsciously
inclined to be raped.
Inclined to rape. You see it in our advertising. You see it throughout the history of man. We have subjugated women and minorities for millennia. And, I think that there are two. Everyone's a racist, okay? There's just one divide. There's the people that deny that they're racist, who are the worst. And then there's people like me that will admit it.
Miles, how the hell did we get from talking about someone going, oh my God, they want to have a threesome with me, it's rape culture, to racism?
I was wondering that too, but I can see the ladder you're climbing, and the ladder's called political correctness, and that's where your problem is.
I believe the problem is intersectionality.
Look,
well, that's a rung on the politically correct ladder.
It's the only reason we climb these ladders is to rise above.
Miles,
that's an old adage.
Are you dressed up like a ninja right now? I just need to know.
I do. I was at an Antifa rally earlier, so it's not a ninja get up. It's just something to hide my identity from the fascists that are out there.
I love
Now,
this
now,
guy.
I suppose my analogy there to say that I believe that Mark's likely a Nazi, and Sushi, you might be the same way. Now, you might say that's over the top, but I think it's that whole right winger voodoo stuff that you guys spew. It's an easy conclusion to say these folks are Nazis. And now, if I were to talk about Kat here in a sexualized manner, I may very well be raping her in the ears. You see where I'm coming from? Now, you may think that's a stretch, but it's a necessary stretch to stress to the youth of America and the world that it's a slippery slope, folks. You do not want to offend.
So we just shit on the First Amendment, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Well, now, don't get me started on that old piece of paper. I'll have you know that when FDR was president, he offered us a New Deal. Now, the old deal was that Constitution beeswax, but a New Deal was a fresh look at that old document, which really doesn't apply anymore. I mean, come on, it talks about militias.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could look at especially what's going on with Canada and C-16. We can go New York. We can go, well, the rest of the world. We can go with the Muslim community throughout the entire history of humanity. That's the side you're at? The liberal side.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. We need to revise these old documents, if not just toss them by the wayside. A new deal, a fair deal, pick your
So
popular
your
president.
argument there is basically freedom of speech isn't something that anyone should have because reasons?
No, because it offends, and when people are offended, people do desperate things, and those that do offend are complicit in they're.
Do you think
basically,
that?
Mhm.
Do you think that old literature written in the style of the times should be blocked and removed and censored because it might offend someone, despite the fact that it will be talking certain of these books and pieces of literature will be talking about removing racism or seeing people for who they are rather than for arbitrary reasons and stuff like that. It will be things like To Kill a Mockingbird, where they are talking about they are talking about racism, and they are talking about well, look at this black guy here. He's actually he's actually a really nice guy. He's a really stand-up he's a really stand-up dude. He's great for his community, and the guy accusing him is the scum of the earth.
And that was true.
But they used the word nigger in that book.
And therein lies the problem.
But nigger was very commonly used in the times. And, it was perfectly acceptable to use that term. And when the book was written and the time that is portrayed in the book, it makes absolute sense to have that, to have that word in there.
Real quick, Miles. Sorry, I want to insert this too because it's right in line with what Kat's saying. Is that the movie Dunkirk, recent movie, excellent movie by the way, fantastic, is being accused of being racist because it doesn't have enough women or minorities in it, and I think that
that's a problem.
Attaches right to what she's saying.
That's a problem when certain minorities are underrepresented. You can look to the publisher of the movie or the video game, and since this is all fantasy, anyways, whether it's a historical piece or not, I think it could suit everybody. It could do everybody some good to change some of these things. For instance, if Atticus Finch was recast as a female,
well,
wait a minute, Mockingbird could be
Wait a minute, Miles. Dunkirk was historically accurate. So that's, what's the problem with being historically accurate?
But you could change some of the facts. If people want history, they can go sit through a boring lecture. I mean, this is an action movie. Well, let's see everyone well represented.
So
Look, they take liberties with these things anyway, so why not take liberties and make some of the German soldiers girls or black or Jewish for that matter?
Did you hear the latest
Those
one? They want to make James Bond a woman. Now, I don't have a problem in the
excellent.
world with women, but I don't know a woman in the world named James. I mean,
it's like, yeah, it's like
you tell me.
I don't have a problem at all with James Bond being a black guy.
Yeah, Idris Elba. Love it.
It's right. I have no problems with that. But the fact that people are, they're like, oh, well, we're just going to take this really, really popular thing and we're just going to take out the male aspect of it and throw a female in there. It's like, well, no, fuck you. I'm sorry, but I find it much more sexist to take a role written for a man and to throw a woman at it for them to actually create a specific female character. Now, there are some absolutely fantastic female protagonists out there. We don't need female protagonists in male written roles.
I'll tell you, I agree
Yes, we
right
do.
now. Now, look, and let me throw some evidence out here. Look, Ellen Ripley, Sigourney Weaver from Alien, is like my on-screen mom. I mean, I couldn't imagine her being replaced as a man. Furiosa, from the new Mad Max movie, fantastic. I mean, the bottom line is, sometimes you just shouldn't swap genders. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, Di's got one, Laura Croft. Let's make Laura Croft a man. I mean, get real. Let's not do.
Absolutely back to the gaming thing as well, though. It's like they talk about representation. They're like, oh my god, there's not enough representation. But then you actually look at games, you look at movies, you look at books, and all of these other pieces of media and stuff like that. And you can actually go and find some absolutely amazing female female protagonists that were written as female protagonists.
Yep, Sarah Connor too, and again
Yeah,
Ripley.
Sarah
Yeah,
Connor. Looking at games, you have Samus.
Samus Aran, Metroid. You should not be.
But Samus was a bit androgynous, and I liked that. You really couldn't tell. And I think the more of that we see, perhaps the more mute this particular aspect of our debate will become. And Laura Croft, I cannot believe that somebody would bring up Laura Croft. That is the epitome of rape culture. I mean, here she is, scantily clad. You're looking at her rear end the whole time. Kids are just getting all worked up into a frenzy and grabbing the Kleenex, and she's exploring deep, dark tunnels. Who knows what that means? I don't know if I like that.
For the record, Tomb Raider was the reason why the PlayStation still exists today. It was so successful.
That's why it should be banned, shelved like GTA.
You want to blame that on Laura Croft's ass? That's fine, but Sony thanks you.
I will say right now that the original Lara Croft, the myth that there was a code you could punch in that actually makes her naked, that's completely false. That doesn't actually exist.
Oh, when you don't like the facts, they're a myth. I see how this works.
No.
Wow.
No, I'm actually using facts. That was never in the game.
I'm holding up a mirror to my screen right now, pointing it at you, Miles.
Well, and that's violent, and that is just another aspect of rape culture.
All right, well, let's get back to the rape culture we were initially talking about, and that was stereotyping bisexuals.
Yes.
So I'm going to continue reading this article if it kills me.
Good luck.
So I'm just going to go back to where we were interrupted. Okay, guys?
That was probably my fault.
May I interrupt? Never mind. Go on.
Oh dear.
No, you go. Go.
All right. Although I didn't at the time, our conversation made me feel awkward because it was rooted in rape culture. It was all about this guy getting what he wanted while I was essentially reduced to a sex object, along with my girlfriend and several friends. My consent, nor the consent of any of the other women in this imagined threesome, was never even considered in this fantasy. Many of the false ideas commonly associated with bisexuality come down to centering men with the idea that everyone should be, open brackets, and wants to be, close brackets, with men, and that our sexuality is all about the male gaze. Here are some common ways you may be stereotyping bisexual people and how those stereotypes feed into rape culture. Number one, bisexual people just want to have sex with everyone. This goes along with the above quite common assumption that we're down for threesomes, especially women and femme folks.
I'm down.
It's like,
See, it's so pervasive.
Like, hey, I've had threesomes with women. They're a lot of fun.
I was born in the summer of love, so I know, but it's not good. It's not good for you, and it's so pervasive. This idea that bisexuals want to have sex with everything.
Just a little hard for you to say it's not good, Miles.
Listen, if you want to talk in a private chat after this, I'll be happy to oblige you. But right now, all I can say for the record,
I'm not for safe spaces, bro. You know, we can do it right here.
I was like, yeah.
No safe spaces, Miles.
That's offensive.
There are no safe spaces on my channel. No, I would have thought that you would have guessed that by now.
Oh, sure. I kind of did deduce that because you used the N-word. I know you were talking about To Kill a Mockingbird, but yeah, I realize that no one is safe here.
No,
we're all in peril.
Here, if you've agreed to join in a stream or you've joined in the chat, you have agreed that there are no safe spaces. And
but you're wearing your gear, right? You're wearing your ninja suit.
I am. Yes.
You're good then. You're good. You're good.
Again, it's not a ninja suit, though. I don't want to offend any of our Asian friends out there.
I can't. Oh shit.
Right. Yes, you can. See, looks like I hit a nerve there. Well, in case any of you in the chat are Asian, you should probably side with me.
I've got this whole Antifa ninja thing, but with a helmet on, and I just can't stop laughing.
Again, that's that guy, Otto. Otto's got a soft skull, so he has to wear that helmet.
An Antifa suit sponsored by, like, Nike. And I just keep thinking of these things that I can't stop laughing.
That's
sorry.
We all just need to pull ourselves together.
I'm sure there's some sort of ableism in there somewhere. All right, I'm going to continue with this article. Right, it promotes the idea that if you're bisexual, you're, open quote, easy, end quote, and will have sex with anyone. There are bisexual folks who want to have sex with multiple partners and those who don't. Open bracket includes those who are on the asexual spectrum and aren't really interested in sex, end bracket. But the bottom line is, it's our choice to consent every time, and we deserve to have our boundaries respected. This stereotype, however, is usually based on the idea that just because someone is attracted to multiple A/genders, they're open to sex all the time with everyone. This comes up a lot in the kind of scenario I described above, where a white straight man, is using bisexual or queer women or femmes as sex objects. In these cases, it's not about the bisexual person's boundaries, desires, or consent. They're simply a part of a sexual fantasy in which women and femmes are openly available for men and for the male gaze. This situation could be empowering and exciting for a bisexual person who's into it, since there are plenty of folks who really enjoy sex with multiple partners at once, but instead it's just for the benefit of the men involved. Even in commonly portrayed fantasies of groups with more than 3 partners, the sex is usually all about the male gaze, and women's sexuality is little more than a convenient plot point. We're allowed to be, quote, bisexual, end quote, in the sense that we're having group sex with other women, but it's not about our desire for those women, it's about the male desire for women's bodies. And non-binary people are usually completely left out of this binary view of sexuality. That's kind of makes sense because
yes, it does.
It's a shame too. It's not right.
Yeah, let me wrap up with what Kat just said, a neat bow. All right, we're talking about basic humanity here, and the proof is the reason why the hot tub or jacuzzi was invented. So yeah, the more the merrier.
Well, she keeps bringing up the male gaze. That's part of the rape culture too. You realize that, right?
Well, I would prefer to say the most beautiful thing on this planet are women, rather than going rape culture with it.
Well, the other thing is that we are great apes. I defy anybody to argue that. We are great apes. We are among the great ape. We are among the great ape genus. Now, when you actually look at great apes, they tend to have a harem. So it's very, very common for men to go, she's a bit of all right, when they're already in a relationship. And, the man's job is to spread their seed. So that's the woman's job is to have the child, to protect the child in the womb, that kind of thing.
I should plug my ears. This is horrible. Well, I just can't believe the words that are coming out of your mouth. We are great apes. The woman's only duty is to bear children. I mean, where does this come from? A science book from 1940? We are above the great apes.
I am trying to think of a symphony or a painting that an ape made. And,
but no,
you got men doing their job and women doing their job. In the meantime, you got humanity, and the whole idea of sex is to keep the species alive.
Well, you can spawn children through a vial now.
Well, let's keep it simple here. Instead of separating men and women, drawing a line between them, let's look at the species, and we're about survival.
Yes, we are
together.
That is more or less. That is true.
Except for liberals.
Now, I don't care for that. Obviously, I'd say it's about survival if we can afford to. I don't know how I need to put this delicately, but I think you might know where I'm going. For instance, I wouldn't want a single mother bringing a child that she couldn't take care of into this world. So that's where we would draw the line on survival. If we're talking about an adult that's committed a minor crime or a heinous crime, we should help them survive.
My stance is Hillary Clinton is pro-choice. I mean, why didn't somebody just drag her out?
That is despicable. How can you even look at yourself in the mirror? You're talking about the former Secretary of State. Where's your global where's your national patriotism? Sorry, Freudian slip.
Yeah, nice. Secretary of Planned Parenthood.
Hey, I'll have you know Margaret Sanger is a national hero.
Ooh. Let me start writing things down.
But no, the reason why I bring that up is because it is science. It is biology. It is genetics. I'm not going to deny genetics, and I'm not going to deny evolution. And where
nor will I.
So, when I say we are great apes, yes, we are part of the great ape genome. We are, obviously, we are more evolved than that now. And
you're right. I agree with that.
We can actually have monogamous relationships if we so choose.
And 76 genders. We've evolved to that point.
I thought it was 79 genders, and I believe the current argument is there are as many genders as needed.
Oh, I think I had the 6 flipped. Yeah, you're right, 79.
There's a difference between, look, let's get this just out of the way when it comes to the genders. You know, there is a difference between science and what people do with life choices. I mean, that's all there is to it.
There's a difference between sex and gender, because there's a difference between science and biology and fashion choice.
Yeah, in science, you're either a boy or a girl, one of the two. You know, I mean, as far as life choices go, morality and what have you, I mean, be whatever you want.
Those are assigned genders. Those are genders that doctors assign. That has nothing to do with nature.
When was the last time a doctor ever chose what sex a human being was going to be when they were born?
They do it all the time.
Hey, it's like, guys, I'm just going to stitch on this penis, and now you have been assigned a male. And you know what? I'm just going to give you a quick slash with the scalpel, and now you're a female. It actually doesn't work like that.
Absolutely not.
What they do is they look at the sex characteristics of the baby, and they go, well, this is male or this is female. Now, I'm not going to deny that there are transgender people out there that do transition from male to female or from female to male.
Exactly right, Cap. But at that point, you're beyond science. You're going to life choices, and that's fine with me.
The other thing with that is that it's the catering to transgenders and stuff like that. You look at the number of people that are actually transgender in America, and that number comes in at 0.03% of the population.
It's very small. You're absolutely right.
It is nonetheless it is nonetheless a demographic that should be protected.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah, but not sit on top of the hill and demand all these rights and all these transgender bathrooms and all these things like that. Look, I mean, you made your choice in life, and I support that. But don't tell me because I don't agree with you that I'm wrong. Let's look at it this way. Let's not look at it from a biased perspective. If transgenderism was a T-shirt, it fits some people. It doesn't fit me. There's no right or wrong to it. I mean, it just doesn't fit me. You know, if it fits you, it fits you.
But if you were like me, if you were an ally to them, you would fit into that shirt just nicely.
Well, I am an ally. Ally is a bad word. I can't stand the way liberals use that, Miles. But I'm not against them. I'll tell you that. I don't judge them. I just don't like how they judge me.
Guys. In regards to transgender bathrooms in and of itself, right? And this is going to be completely anecdotal. Mark, you know that I have back problems. Miles, I suffer sciatica, which on occasion does completely take me out, and I am incapable of walking. I need help to stand. I need help with pretty much everything, including going to the bathroom. Okay? Now, I have had this happen to me on more than one occasion when I've been out. I've only been out with male friends. And what I found is that my male friends can walk straight into the bathroom. I will give them a shout. They will walk in. They will go, sorry, my friend is XYZ. You know, she's fucking in the bathroom there, can't fucking move. They will come in. They will help me stand up. They will help me pull my trousers up and all that, sort me out, help me walk over to the sink, walk out. Nobody has a problem with it. The only thing with this whole transgender bathroom thing is, people are throwing a fit. They don't have anything to argue against anymore, so they're making up these bullshit fucking, arguments, and they're sort of sat there going, but people, we need a transgender bathroom. We need to be able to walk into whatever bathroom we like. Well, guess what? You can. And if you have a legitimate reason to be there, nobody gives a shit. If you look like a woman and you walk into the woman's bathroom, nobody bats an eyelash. If you look like a guy and you walk into the guy's bathroom, nobody bats an eyelash. What they want is to be able to dress up whatever fucking way they want. It's about fashion. Once again, it's about fashion.
Oh, that's you make it sound so trite.
It is trite.
It's a. Oh,
It's trite. Unfortunately, it's also something they try to make into a civil rights movement.
it is. It's the newest civil rights movement.
I agree with everything Kat just said. Long story short, I agree. But trying to connect the two, I can see the dots. I can't connect them yet.
Well, like I said, Mark, if say for instance you and I went out and my back went and I was incapable of walking, but I really need to go to the bathroom, are you gonna, I've walked into the men's bathroom or been escorted into the men's bathroom by male friends of mine. I've had male friends walk into the women's bathroom. It always depends on what bathroom is closest to me at the time.
I'm going to support you 100% either way. It doesn't matter what
don't
bathroom, under the circumstances.
don't do it, Kat.
If I turn
Don't do
around,
it. Mark will use that game.
so if I need to go to the bathroom and I can't fucking do it, I can't stand up.
I'm going to help you however I can.
I'm going to turn around to you and go, yeah, just sort of wait for me. Or if it's the women's bathroom, they tend to wait outside the bathroom door and listen for me to shout them.
Men's bathroom, women's bathroom, doesn't matter. Again, my step one with this whole thing is the whole civil rights issue that they try to make this out to be.
But it is the new Jim Crow. It is the conservative slanted view on those that are struggling with their sexuality.
You're going to use a whole tube of toothpaste to wash that out of your mouth tonight, Miles.
now listen here, Kat. If you had to go into the restroom and you needed a cis male to go in there with you, if I were you, I would turn my attention to Miles Upsure, because you can trust me. Whereas Martin Jackson, I fear that he's going to put you under that proverbial gaze. He's going to objectify you in that stall under the guise of helping you. And
Miles.
Yeah.
If Mark helps me stand up off the toilet, pull my underwear up, and pull my trousers up, and help me wash my hands,
Sure
I
will.
don't give a flying fuck if he's looking down my top.
You have been secretly raped.
If he is giving me the dignity of not pissing my pants, I don't care if he's looking at me.
True story. No bullshit here. I have a friend of mine. He's 80s. We go out shooting together. He's incontinent. So every once in a while we're out in the woods and we're shooting our rifles, and he just kind of goes. And I've got a special knife I keep in my pocket to cut his underwear off. And that's happened 3 or 4 times. I don't have a problem in the world with helping people out.
And to be honest, Miles, I would trust Mark. Absolutely. I would trust him to do nothing untoward towards me. I would trust him to do exactly as I asked, whether it's, stand there and let me pull up on you, because if you pull me, I fall over. Or even if it's a case of, I have nowhere to sleep and I need to sleep in a bed. I would trust Mark to be able to sleep next to him and nothing happen.
No,
Trust me.
Consider this.
Trust
everything,
me. Yeah, just don't trust Kate.
Everything is relative.
The whole thing changes with Kate.
Who would you feel safer sharing a bed with? Mr. Jackson here, or say Rachel Maddow?
Mr. Jackson.
Yeah,
See,
I'm not
now.
Absolutely, 100%. I would trust Mark Jackson over Rachel Maddow.
Yeah, even if I was a complete piece of shit, at least I'm not like entirely irradiated when killer of cancer. So yeah, I'd go with Mark over Rachel.
Harsh words on such a beautiful woman.
She's a woman.
You're a fan of
Yes.
Rachel Maddow. Then.
Rachel Maddow's a woman.
Now
She's
that's
been watching
see,
MSNBC for 5 years. I didn't know Rachel Maddow was a woman. God.
see, there it is again.
Hey, the thing that I actually find amusing
He's
about
trying to have fun with her hairstyle.
Yeah, the thing that I actually find funny about the MSNBC thing was the recent hit piece they'd done on the Kekistani nation.
Why? It was an accurate piece.
Was it really?
Oh yeah.
Didn't
They said Sargon of Akkad was a black guy.
Yeah, I saw the
he
script.
is. He's the president of Kyrgyzstan.
I saw the script, and it was written in crayon, so I didn't really believe it either.
It's
You know, a journalist
actually
has to
a
use
real
writing.
thing. It's a real thing, Mark. It
Yeah,
exists.
yeah,
That's
but
a
the
real
script,
thing.
yeah, but the script was written in crayon. So I just, wow, man, this is how the world ends, huh?
Are we at some point getting to Black Lives Should Matter?
All right, yeah, okay. You had a
Is it
yeah,
possible to take a break? I got to walk the dog. Not to cut you.
uh, certainly, hun. If you need to take a break, yeah, certainly go and take a break.
I apologize. I'll be back in a few.
Now, I loathe Black Lives Matter, but you had a something you wanted to bring up regarding them, didn't you, Miles?
I did. Should we do it after the break? I personally, I'm an ally of Black Lives Matter. I'm, I've applied for my card. I want to be a card-carrying member. But yeah, are we taking a break, or how's this working?
I'll tell you what. I'll put it up to the chat. Chat, do you want to take a 5-minute break, or are you guys good to continue on without Mark for a little bit?
And thank you, Ladgeness.
He's called Linus.
No, he's not. He's called Ladgeness. You're being rude.
How am I being rude by pronouncing his name?
You're butchering his name. I'm a worldly man. I know a Ladgeness when I see one.
Would you like to guess as to where he comes from?
Ladgenessistan.
He's Scandinavian. I believe he's Scandinavian.
That was my second guess.
So the J is silent. It's Linus.
Oh, I knew that. I was just having a little fun, is all. Like I said, I'm a worldly man.
Right, well, I'm more than happy to continue.
I am. Let me grab my assistant and get a beverage. I need to wet the whistle. It won't even take me 5 minutes. It'll take me 30 seconds.
All right. Well, I will speak to you again soon.
Okay.
For those of you that have Twitter, I would like you all to make I would like you all to make a comment on Twitter with the hashtag #ITrustMilesUpshure. And I would like to be tagged in it so that I could retweet them all. Let's see how many that hit. And Death Wish King there. He's like, this guy has to be faking it. Like, no, Miles Upshure is from Liberal Agenda News, and I suggest, I suggest everybody look him up. He's a very distinguished guy in the in journalism. So yeah, and if you really want to see some of his work, I suggest you go to the Automatic channel and check out Liberal Outlast. That is one of his most prestigious. That's one of his most prestigious articles. One of his most prestigious.
Oh, I'm back just in time. That was also one of my most harrowing experiences. Although Otto butchered the whole story, he made the story serve his own whims, and the man's a douche. I mean, no offense to women.
He did try to piece together the recordings that you done there, But there was some
Is
controversy as to whether or not you actually faked some of the videos.
Oh, are you questioning my sincerity? I know that there's these allegations hanging above my head. But you know, the folks that fire that stuff, they're just full of vitriol. They're jealous of my experiences. I uncovered a massive scandal on a massive mountain during that journalistic period in my life. And to think that I tried to team up with this prick from YouTube and he went ahead and butchered the whole story. I didn't lie about a damn thing. Adversely, he lied about the whole deal. He made me look like a coward, is what it was.
Well, didn't he also steal your YouTube channel and your name on there?
Yes. Yeah, well, I stole his YouTube channel so I could do this interview. That's what we call tit for tat. No offense to women or people that have tattoos.
Like, yeah, die there. It's like take Miles to take the tinfoil. Tell Miles to take the tinfoil hat off his head.
Why? She wants to borrow it? Is she not the one that brought up Laura Croft earlier? I mean,
she is indeed the one that brought up Laura Croft.
I mean, there was a game that objectified women if I ever saw one. Not that I saw it, but I saw a Senate committee hearing on it.
By Senate committee hearing, but yeah, by Senate committee hearing, do you mean a feminist frequency video?
Oh, now what are you saying? That what network are you accusing of being feminist centric?
I said feminist frequency.
Oh, feminist frequency. I apologize.
With Anita Sarkeesian.
She's great, by the way.
That's funny because I actually hear a lot of far left liberals that really really don't like her themselves.
Well, you know, sometimes I get a rise out of the opposition too. There are people that I take umbrage with that I still entertain. For instance, here I am talking to you and your pug friend, and I enjoy the discourse. I do keep looking at my clock, but I'm enjoying the conversation. I will make sure my agent never puts me on this program again. But for the time being, I'm content.
Okay, well, considering that you actually had some information yourself, you wanted to bring up Black Lives Matter?
Oh well, I thought that Black Lives Matter was I thought it was something that you took umbrage with.
I did.
And see, I'd be interested in exploring that a little bit, because here we're talking about a peoples that have been subjugated by the United States, among numerous other countries, for far too long. And suffice to say, they're fed up. They've had enough. Jim Crow is alive and well, and these people are keenly aware of it. Every time you see a racist cop gun down an African American, that's what we call them today, To Kill a Mockingbird be damned. And you have these killings in the street at the hands of police officers, be it Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, Eric Gardner, Sticky Two Pants, Jimmy Jackson, Tito Jackson. A lot of these guys, they're dropping left and right. And sometimes it's something so trivial as a shoelace or cigarettes that gets them killed. And you can't tell me that's not racism. So, for these people to rally is natural.
I am going to state that 13% of the population does cause over 50% of the violent crime. And it's the reason why Black people actually tend to have more interactions with the police. And then, you were speaking of like Trayvon Martin and stuff like that. He was resisting arrest and going for the cop's gun, I believe. And I believe that was him. Quite a few of the ones that they're talking about are, they were resisting arrest when they get shot. And then, they were attacking the police officers.
Well, my home.
So, in my opinion,
they're fearing for their lives. The new
Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization, and then you have companies, major news outlets like CNN, who are spinning this narrative that they're so oppressed, they're so that they just want to live in peace, and they'll play clips of you have that the sister of one of the guys that got shot, and I'm really shit with names, so I can't remember it off the top of my head. And she's saying it's like don't riot here, and that's where CNN cuts it off. But if they play that video just a little bit longer, she says take it to the suburbs, go riot in the suburbs.
Oh, but how do you know she means rioting? How do you know she doesn't just mean?
She said to them to take the riots to the suburbs.
Wow, she could have just.
Because that's exactly what she said.
Yeah, it's like,
you're taking her out of context, just like you people always took President Obama out of context.
How am I taking her out of context when I'm quoting what she said?
Because you're using different inflection. She said it so much more civilly, and maybe she just meant move the protests to the suburbs. That way, our white oppressors can see this firsthand.
So
I guess I took Linda Sarsour claiming jihad on America out of context too, as well.
Yes, you probably did.
She very, very politely told them to go and riot in the suburbs. She used the word riot. You can't get around that. She used the word riot.
Well, I'd have to go back and look at the tapes.
Black Lives Matter
as it stands,
is a domestic terrorist organization, just like Antifa. Both of them are domestic terrorist organizations.
And both of them were labeled as domestic terrorist organizations in New Jersey a couple of weeks ago.
You want me to do like that jelly bean inhaling geriatric president of the United States wanted us to do, trust but verify. I need verification. That man was out of his godforsaken mind. And yes, I'm talking about your sweetheart Ronald Reagan, and I saw somebody mention Margaret Thatcher earlier. There's a warmonger if you ever saw one. But no, I need verification. I don't just trust.
I suppose we could go with Nancy Pelosi and Maxine Waters if you'd like.
Now those two are gems. Oh, don't laugh. Nancy Pelosi, she's something else. And I'll tell you what, in her younger years, and I don't mean to objectify, but as you say, we are just apes in the long run, she was quite a looker. And she's still a classy gal.
I was laughing, Miles, because I got to PM you after this to send you a bottle of scotch for what you're doing. It's fantastic. I owe you. Long story short.
Thank you very kindly.
To agree to come on this stream where a lot of the people here have agreed with Trump in some way, have hold a lot of conservative views, are a lot more towards the right or much more central in regards to myself, and I'm sure some other people in the chat.
Yeah, you're
on the stream and to actually agree to this when you knew that this is probably going to be pretty triggering for leftists or far leftists and stuff like that. You certainly deserve commendation for that.
Absolutely.
In all transparency, I have been triggered a few times throughout this discourse, but I'm a professional. I keep it to myself. But that scotch could do me good.
I will send it because, you walked into the Shark Tank here and it's crossed to bear time and you haven't melted down yet. I mean, I've been trying to make you melt down, triggered liberal, but it didn't happen.
Speaking
I mean,
of
you don't
Shark
make
Tank,
any
what an
sense, but-
excellent program. Oh, now. How about that Mark Cuban on Shark Tank? Is he something else? I
Okay,
love that guy.
guys, we're not here to talk about Shark Tank, but
Okay. Well,
But
we
yeah,
were talking about Black Lives Matter, right? And I wanted to call it Black Lives Should Matter, but apparently that stands for something else. So,
well, I also the other thing that I don't understand is why is Black Lives Matter, which in and of itself elevates one race above the others because it is only speaking about one race. Why is that considered politically correct? Whereas if I turn around and say all lives matter, that's racist.
well,
I believe
in the
all lives matter. I will subscribe to the idea that all lives matter. I don't
because we're not
care whether
naive.
or
We
not-
know what you're doing by saying that. You're saying white lives matter.
No,
See,
I
it's all
don't.
about context.
I absolutely believe that Black Lives Matter. I believe that Brown Lives Matter. I believe that Yellow Lives Matter. I believe that White Lives Matter.
That is racist as hell. What do you mean by yellow lives?
I mean
Well,
Asians.
You take
Okay, see-
you take the three simple words, Black Lives Matter, and of course they do, but you put the movement behind them, and then no, they're all whack jobs, and they don't care about, but they don't. Basically, it's an anti-white hate group. Basically, it's centered around hating straight white males.
No, I've
And
seen
straight white females in regards to Black Lives Matter in itself. They just hate white people. It doesn't matter whether they're male or female.
I think that is offensive in its own right, and that just lends itself to the reason why these people need to organize and get out there.
And burn
Our
shit
last
down.
president.
Have arguments with bins. Oh no, wait, sorry. The arguments with bins comes with Antifa. What is Antifa's fascination with bins? Like, I genuinely don't understand that at all. Like,
With bins?
They attack bins. Like, what is that? Is that a warm up?
Would you rather them attack innocent people, which they don't do, for the
Do that
record?
as
I mean,
well.
that's staged
like,
when you
they-
see that.
It's not staged at all. They attack people as well. You have that chick that was just wearing a red hat, and she was talking about why she was there protesting. She was on the protesters' side, and she got maced.
Well, did the red hat say "Make America Race or Great
No.
Again"?
What
No,
about the
it
dude that
was-
got hit with a
it was
bike lock?
Wait, he got arrested, didn't he? It's like how is that staged when he gets arrested?
Yeah,
Because I tell you, I don't know. I don't have all the facts in front of me, but I will tell you this: that I would much prefer them attacking bins and inanimate objects than people. And I think
Well,
the
yeah,
statistics would show they attack more bins than people. And
I don't necessarily agree with that.
that's because if they attack us or other people to get their asses kicked or shot, look at what was it, UC Berkeley, where that Antifa member attacked a conservative and ended up getting himself shot.
Well, you have it.
well, and see, that's the problem. You gun-toting conservatives. I mean, who wants to attack?
Where the police were told to stand down and just sort of sit back and watch, and basically the local bike gangs rolled in and was like, you know what, we're going to call order here.
Yep.
And they do the same with Black Lives Matter. I've seen it. I've seen videos where the local bike gangs are the ones holding order.
Oh, please. No. Now. Those folks carry more guns than anyone else. I'll tell you what, I've been in some sticky situations. Like you say, I investigated that asylum. I did not carry a gun when I did that. I've been to war zones and I did not carry a gun. And granted, from time to time, I was more scared of our own armed forces than I was of the enemy. And I'd hide and get in this is personal. I'd get in the fetal position and I'd cry. And I had mother issues, so I'd I call out my mom's name. I don't know many prayers, not being religious, but I do know how to say grace. So on one occasion, I said grace back to back for half an hour, but never once did I decide to carry a gun into these dangerous areas. All the while conscious of the fact that you conservatives carry guns every which way you go.
I certainly do.
See, I don't have a gun. I did sign up for the army, and I managed to pass into basic, but that's where when I took my back injury and I had to be discharged from basic. So
consider yourself lucky. I mean, the guilt that must accompany some of the soldiers, at least in the Western countries. Boy, I can't even imagine.
I will defend my country to the death.
But why? If we take down the borders, we could form a global government. You could join that army, tantamount to the blue helmets, and do some real good.
Not when we're importing people that are ideologically opposed to our very foundational beliefs. Okay, right. Do you agree with pedophilia?
Is that, well,
do
that's a demographic in itself. Did I say that out loud? What I mean to say is the pedophiles, you know, I guess it depends on, have they acted on their desires, or do they just self-identify as pedophiles, in which case shame on us for insulting them.
Let's assume they have acted on their desires. Do you agree with a pedophile that has had sexual relations with a minor?
I think that they're redeemable. They can be active.
Question. I require a yes or no answer to this question. It is a yes or no question. Hey, chat. Do you guys agree with adults that have sexual relations with minors? Yes or no?
Only if the minor is an animal.
Okay, listen.
If it's like a puppy dog or a kitty cat or something like that, then that might be just
what?
Furries.
Maybe,
you know,
maybe like a minor in the sense of like a West Virginian coal miner who's actually like 45 years old.
As in not of age. Minor as in under the age of 18 or 21, depending on where you are in the Western world.
Okay,
look at all these people saying no.
Serious question here. What if I was 15 and I had sex with an 18-year-old woman? Would you guys agree with that?
See? Yes. Yes, I would.
I would agree with that.
See, that's if.
See, we found common ground.
It depends on whether or not the 18-year-old woman, if it was a long-standing relationship, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. If it was the woman putting the 15-year-old in the position of, you know, have sex with me, it would be cool, you know, then no, I don't have, but I don't agree with that. So, you know, it really depends. I think as an 18-year-old woman, year-old man having sex with a 15-year-old boy or a 15-year-old girl, then that kind of drives, that kind of needs context. And yes. We do have, you know, we do have sort of it's certainly in Britain, I can't speak for America because I haven't looked at all the sexual assault and things like that, those laws in America, where if you have a degree of separation of 4 or less years, then it wouldn't necessarily be considered as statutory rape.
I think that there are some states where those laws exist in the states as well.
And then you got Kentucky.
Well, yeah.
Did I say? I didn't mean to say that out loud.
However, okay.
Death Wish King is retracting messages. He clearly agrees with me. Come on, buddy. You don't have to retract them.
Yeah, I will give you a pair of ages, okay? Do you agree with a 50-year-old man having sexual relations with a 9-year-old girl?
How does he vote?
Of course not.
Wait,
of course not. No, well, he voted for Clinton. We know that. But yeah, of course not.
I would defend the man.
You would defend the man?
Yes.
And can you give a reason as to why you would defend the man?
Because everyone is entitled to a reasonable defense. I think defense lawyers are the paladins of our justice system.
Because Miles has a crush on Mr. Rogers.
Okay,
I got it.
I will state, yes, everybody deserves a legal defense. Okay, now I don't want, I wouldn't call for vigilante justice or anything like that. I have spoken against vigilante justice before. You
don't like Batman, Cat?
I was going to ask the same question.
However, I'm talking about whether or not you agree, yes or no, with the idea of a 50-year-old man having sexual relations with a 9-year-old girl.
On the surface, no.
Just no.
So
no, just no.
How do you marry up? How do you marry up? Okay, we don't accept 50-year-olds having sexual relations with 9-year-olds, with Islam having child marriages.
Well, that's a cultural difference. I think we have to respect their culture.
Don't need to import it into our culture. Vilify.
To have one overriding government, we do.
No, we don't.
People should be able to freely come and go as they please. And I don't mean that as a pun. Don't get your head out of the gutter. What I mean is, as we move toward this global government, global governing body, somebody from Syria has every right to come to Canada or the United States or the UK.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. You can come to Canada, you can come to the UK, anywhere in the West.
Does Guantanamo Bay count as the United States?
Oh, has that not shut down yet?
You need to naturalize. You need to learn the language. You need to learn the culture. You need to learn the laws and abide by them.
Islam's so awesome at that.
No. You don't need to learn the laws and abide by them. The host country needs to make accommodations for these people.
So if I go to Syria, I don't need to learn their laws. I can just continue living by my own laws and just completely ignore them. You know what? I'll wander around Syria's historical cities and a crop top. Oh wait, wasn't that woman arrested?
That's encouraging rape culture as well. But I mean, that's the difference between the East and the West. The Western countries need to make accommodations to the other countries.
The East doesn't need to make accommodations for the West, but the West has to make accommodations for the East. No,
that's right.
I'm sorry, but no. If you want open borders, then everywhere has open borders, in which case everybody subscribes to their own laws.
I disagree. I think that here in the
country, if one country make concessions to another culture, then that other culture, when people from that first country go to them concessions for those people, it's a two-way street.
Yeah, I'm a little torn on this issue. I got to admit, Kat, Miles.
If I went,
open borders. I like the idea of a wall, but I can't shoot through a wall. I can't shoot my rifle through a wall. So
if I went to Syria, I would learn their laws, learn their customs, and I would abide by that. They need to do that when they come here.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, so many tout the United States or Western countries as the proverbial greatest countries on the face of the earth. And as such, we need to make accommodations. And yes, if we go to third world countries, you'd better abide by their localized rules. But if they come here, why not open ourselves up to them? We are the bigger people.
what happened to the term melting pot, Miles?
I'm all about the melting pot. That's why these refugees ought to be let in.
What's the difference between multiculturalism and the melting pot?
Well, it would have to be there'd be some gray area there, would there not?
I'd say a little bit more than a lot.
If this orange-headed man that currently sits in the Oval Office would just open up to these refugees, I feel like that we could restore that multiculturalism that we're striving for here in the States. We need to make accommodations for these people in the sense that we need to cut back on taxes levied against them. We need to allow them to open up small businesses and thrive. After all, these are jobs that nobody else wants. Small businesses, that is.
I think
That's good.
Over there.
That's good.
I'm sorry, my assistant is tickling me. Stop that.
So I was going to reply to that. So what we could do is put them in tents, in camps, and make them fix our roads for 5 years, and then send their asses back across the border. I think that's what you meant.
That sounds.
It's not really a small
that is
business.
Something I'd be willing to entertain because FDR did something similar with the internment camps, but I think that we are past that. As much as I love as much as I love history, I wouldn't want to repeat the mistakes of our past.
Because if taking terrorists...
Sorry, guys. I just need to be really quick. I will be back in a moment.
Right. Okay. She knew she was losing the argument, and that's why she's retreating.
No,
folks, that's why you...
I need to use the bathroom, honey.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you had left.
Because if multiculturalism means taking illegal immigrants and terrorists and making them fix our flipping roads, then I agree with multiculturalism. And then throwing their asses back out, of course. So I think Miles and I can agree on this one thing.
I'll give you that. But, I think when it comes to our roads and our bridges, I think that should that should be on the back burner. What comes first is helping the disenfranchised. Giving them a leg up. What was that trickle-down economics, which makes absolutely no sense? The rich will employ the poor. This is crap, because the rich are just going to hoard their money and run off and live in some fantasy land overseas. But the fact of the matter is, if we could just elevate the poor to a greater status, we could have no rich, no poor, just everyone's middle class, everybody's working, or if they're not, they're taken care of by their benevolent government. Are you not seeing the utopia that I'm describing?
Yeah, communist Russia. I got you.
No, Russia.
Sorry.
I'll tell you what, 10 years ago, I would agree with you, but...
Iran, I'm sorry.
I just... In terms of Russia, I used to be pro-Russia, but then what they had going on fell apart, and then they hacked into some emails, and now they're our enemy number one. Those bastards, we're going to get them. I hate to say Mitt Romney was right. In fact, I won't say it. But
I'm a little pissed about those Russian emails. That shows a JPEG of me getting a blowjob from Hillary Clinton. It's probably why I'm going to go to hell. But
yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. Oh, hey, welcome back, Kat.
Thank you. We actually do have a tweet from Uno saying, "I trust Miles Upsure."
Thank you, Uno. You are numero uno in my book. That means number one in Spanish or something.
But yeah, he's the
Oh,
only
man.
person that has taken me up on my challenge to send me tweets with the hashtag "I trust Miles Upsure."
Well, I love the initiative you've taken there, and I think if you like what you're hearing from me here, vote Democratic.
So I'm sorry. I heard you were talking about the Russian emails when I came back in. Would somebody
Yes.
quickly fill me in on what's going on?
Well, they
those damn Russians
stole,
caught me in a precarious position.
as they will do, but it's not your fault, Mark.
You're getting
It's not your
heads
fault. It's
again.
their fault for exposing you.
Yeah, but
What they did to the DNC was atrocious. They cost the inevitable winner the election, and now we have this orange puppet. Just this is nothing more than what was that show that he used to host, The Apprentice? Oh boy! I mean, we're just all at the mercy of the producer of The Apprentice, or was that Mark Burnett?
well, I'm pretty sure that show was better than Hillary Clinton hosting Benghazi, but that's just me.
Oh, she had nothing to do with Benghazi.
Oh,
I would love
we
to see you back that.
we know she didn't.
Oh, I see what you did there. I don't care for that at all.
Could you care? Yeah, would you care to back that claim up?
I definitely take issue with what Mark was implying there. You know, I was saying she had nothing to do with it, and then he kind of made it seem like she wouldn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, yes.
It's context. I meant it a completely different way than he meant it.
Okay, yeah.
I'm getting confused now. What is the definition of is?
Okay,
A great president once said that.
I would like you to back up your claim that Hillary Clinton had nothing to do with Benghazi.
She didn't. She didn't answer her phone. So you know, why is she in trouble? Just because you couldn't get a hold of her?
Miles is technically right. Those boys asked over 90 times for help, and she just did absolutely nothing. She was responsible to help, and she didn't do anything after 90 calls for help, 90 plus rather.
She swore when she ran for president the first time. She said when that phone call comes in at 2 a.m, she would answer it. And what time did the Benghazi call come in?
Which one?
Right. Nobody can tell me, but I guarantee you it wasn't at 2 a.m. It was probably 2:30 or maybe 3 o'clock.
Cool. Oh, so you estimate the times.
I am being speculative. I'm just saying, why does it end with her? You know, and I'm not saying take this up to POTUS. I guess what I'm saying is why her? Why don't you go after some admiral or somebody in the CIA that you know, some hot shot? Maybe not a guy. Let's actually envision a woman, like a kind of attractive woman. Go ahead.
From what I'm aware, one that was meant to answer that call. The duck stops with her.
The Obama administration took away military command decisions from the executive branch took away military command decisions from the military. So every time a bomb was dropped, every time anything had to happen, it had to go all the way up to the chain. And Benghazi was Hillary. And that's not the way a military should work anyway. The civilian government should stay out of it.
Well, I think it's a raw deal you guys are giving Secretary Clinton there. She was the Secretary of State. She wasn't the Secretary of Defense. And attractive to boot.
Nice. Who does
Actually,
the?
definitely subjective.
I had something intelligent to say, and then you said that. Miles, thank you.
That's how I do. I derail you.
Well, it's
Thank you
nice to
for.
know that you actually admit that you derail it.
Well, you know, I figured since this is kind of an expose, I'd let you in on some of my my pragmatic thinking. You know, how many times have I said demographic? Black Lives Matter is a demographic.
Black Lives Matter.
LGBTYM, Y and M stands for you and me, by the by, and that's a demographic.
Well, you got the acronym wrong, so now you're in big trouble with your own base, man.
Yeah, I mean, how did you get the acronym wrong?
Well,
QIA plus. That's the acronym.
I was having fun with it. I tacked on Y and M to say you and me, you know, but
yeah,
but you and me is sexist and does not address all the genders.
but it's gender neutral to say you and me. I could have said Zim and Zer. Is that more preferable? If it is, I'm game.
I'd appreciate that.
The acronym for LGBTQIA plus is bisexual, queer, intersex, ally. I fucking love that there's ally on there. Who fucking
Absolutely, because I'm one of them, and I've written an article about that very topic, so I know. I fired it off to Rachel.
Yeah, and why, Kat? Good point, Kat. But I've got a question for you.
What is ally doing on there?
Why is the A stand for ally, Kat, and not apologist?
Oh,
well, I thought those were interchangeable.
Miles Davis. Yeah, I can get behind that. Oh,
It's like Miles Upsure.
I can get behind that too.
All right, guys. I think I have entirely ruined Kat's rants, so I'm going to bid you guys a good night.
All right.
You've done well, Mark. I appreciated you coming in and voicing your opinions. I'm just glad that I soundly defeated all of your arguments.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way, sir.
Yes, because feelings are important, right, Mark?
What are those? But hey, thanks guys for letting me come on. I appreciate it.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. And would you like to show your channel before you leave?
Yeah, sure. I'm Mark Jackson. Just go to YouTube and look up say Mark Jackson Fallout or Mark Jackson Doom on the search. You'll find me. And I'll just
or you can post
scramble some stuff in the. I can't. I'm not a mod here.
You've also got an Anthony Weiner video, don't you, you cretin?
Yes, I do.
He does.
I do. That's Miles's boyfriend, by the way. I've got video of that too. I'm going to be posting that tomorrow.
Don't do it.
So,
you better post that tomorrow. You absolutely have.
I'll make sure that's the case. But hey, guys, have a good night. Thanks again, and chat. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, have a good night, Han, and send my love to your girls.
I sure will. Best wishes to you and yours, everybody. See ya.
All right, bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mark Jackson. I don't know. I feel like that he presented some arguments. I can't say they were kind of shaky. Don't you agree? I know Laginus does.
Linus.
Yeah, you keep telling me that.
Hey, Linus, how'd you say your name, Han?
Don't do it, Linus. Laginus. This is a trap.
All right, so we were talking about I'm actually going to move on to another subject.
Okay.
Or it's actually related to the LGBTQ.
You forgot the A.
Yeah, the LGBTQIA plus peoples. Sorry, I find it very difficult to type and speak at the same time.
I
absolutely die. Boobies. Boobies are awesome.
Another example of rape culture, right there in the chat, folks.
Well, we're very, very guilty of that. So I'm actually going to skip the preamble on this video. Sorry, on this. It is a video. It's done by Riley J. Dennis.
Love Riley, by the way.
To be honest, I can't stand Riley, and I'm going to refer to Riley by their name because at this point I'm not 100% sure if they are actually transgender or if they are just jumping on the bandwagon and going, yeah, look guys, I am transgender, look, I'm taking HRT, or if they are actually transgender. So
well, that's respectable, I guess. You know, I mean, I appreciate you using the proper pronouns.
Riley Dennis uses she, her pronouns, and I refer to Riley as they, not the proper pronouns.
Well, it's not him or her, so it works for me.
Okay, and this is
Well,
in
let me
regard...
guess. You're one of these Blair White subscribers.
Actually, I'm not subscribed to Blair White. I don't
good.
really like Blair White.
She'll yeah, I'm glad to hear it.
Okay, Death Wish. Have a good night, hon. We'll talk to you again soon. But yeah, the article is on, can having gender preferences for dating mean you're anti-trans?
Yes.
So, say for instance, and this is completely hypothetical because I don't actually have a problem with dating trans people. I have done in the past. It doesn't bother me. But say for instance, I turned around and I was like, nope, if I'm dating a guy, then that guy needs a penis.
So close-minded. Yeah.
That would be anti-trans.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. So I have
Yes.
to be absolutely accepting of the idea that my women can have dick and balls and my men can have vaginas.
That is the age we live in. Yes.
I don't agree with that.
Oh, good. Here we go.
I believe that. No, we haven't actually touched upon the kink shaming yet, Tony. But yeah, I believe that there are some people that turn around, and whether they are gay or straight or whatever, it doesn't matter, that will only be attracted to one type of person. And, you know, it's like turning around and saying, well, if you're a lesbian, you know, and you dating another lesbian, but that lesbian just happens to have a dick, you have to love the dick. Is that's basically what we're saying in regards to, if you're straight and your girlfriend has a dick, you have to love the dick. It's the same concept. Are we in agreement?
Right. Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, if you love the person first, and then you find out what's in their pants, and you're gonna love that too. You just have to.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's like, you know, and there are plenty of people that I absolutely adore, and you know, it doesn't it doesn't really bother me whether or not they have a vagina or if they have a dick. I am of the opinion, and this is another thing that was being debated at the time, that if I'm dating a trans person, and I'm talking about actually dating them, not one night stands. You know, if you're having a one night stand, you take that fucking chance. You're not going to go into their past history. If you are in a prolonged dating situation, then before you end up sleeping with someone, it really should be discussed that they are, whether or not they are actually trans. And there's a lot of people in the far left that are saying that that's transphobic, that having to know whether or not your partner is or was transitioning from one to the other, having to know that before you will have sexual relations with them, or if you will continue a romantic relationship with them. There's many people that say that that's transphobic.
It is transphobic. If I'm in a relation, say if my girlfriend showed up at my apartment and she said, "Hey, Miles, I got a penis today," I'd be excited for her. It would be a new dimension to our relationship. I wouldn't hold that against her because that indeed would be transphobic. Unnecessary, and it would be evidence that I never loved her to begin with.
However, if you were to go into a relationship with a woman and you're like, yeah, we want to settle down, we want to have kids, we want to do this, we want to do that, and then you find out 5 years into the relationship that she used to be a he, biologically speaking, and wouldn't that sort of damage your trust with that person?
If it did, I would say shame on that person for having a 1950s view of the world. I mean, get with the times. You can buy kids anymore.
Oh my God! Did you just say that you can buy children?
Yeah, I sure did.
I really.
Or you could get a surrogate, or
yeah, I was going to say. I really hope that that's what you were going for.
Yes, I'm against the slave trade. I remember when Michelle, that's what I call her, she said, "Save our girls," and I believe that wholeheartedly. And we're not talking about boobies. I mean the slave trade.
I wonder if I can get boobies to. Yeah, I wonder if I can get that Mexican wave through the chat there.
Oh, I hope not. How immature, folks. Come on.
Our chat goes from deadly serious to absolutely childish in a matter of seconds.
See, like on a whim 7737 says you can always adopt. So, okay, your spouse comes home, and today they've got a surprise. They got new genitalia, and you didn't know it. Then, yeah, you can adopt.
Yeah, I mean, you can always adopt, but there are always going to be those people that want their own genetic children. I think that would be unfair on them to.
I don't, because I feel like that those people are living some kind of classical pipe dream.
Well, do you not think that it would be unfair on those people that actually want their own genetic children to be, to not be absolutely upfront? If you are dating someone and, you are of I'm trying to think of the word, pre-menopause or men start to impotent, that's the word, pre-impotent ages, don't you think that it should be absolutely on them that they should say, I cannot have children, I was born without those parts, I am incapable of having children?
Well, no, because then they could chase off their spouse.
To me, it really damages the trust in the relationship. And like I said, I have dated transgender people. I don't have a problem with dating them, but they've always been upfront. They've always told me. And the one time that I wasn't told, and I was like, well, I'm okay with trans. I will absolutely.
I have to have a powwow with my assistant real quick. I apologize.
But yeah, we're gonna take a quick break here while Miles goes and has a quick chat with his assistant. So how is everyone in the chat? I mean, I haven't really engaged too much live.
Whore. Jesus Christ, I'm trying to do a fucking show here. Sorry, I apologize.
Did you just call your assistant a two-bit whore?
Nope, that wasn't me.
Pretty sure that was in your voice.
No, my mic was muted. Must have been someone on your end. Sounds like something one of your folks would say.
Actually, it's not something that any of my lot would ever say.
Well, that, you know what it probably is it's you get these crossed wires where you pick up transmissions from, you know, the space station or some other point. What were we talking about before I stepped away?
We were talking about transgenders and them being open in a prolonged romantic relationship, about them being transgender.
Thank you, Uno. Okay, yeah. And this is a segue to bondage, right? We're getting to bondage.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to jump onto bondage if you want. If you can't.
I bet you would be, because
any
comments. I've given my comments that I think it's insensitive for somebody to like I say, if your other half comes home, and I hate to even use that term, other half. And by the way, when I said I had to have a powwow with my assistant, I apologize to any Native Americans out there who are suffering under the jackboot of United States law. I didn't mean it in that sense, and I'm going to take that word right out of my vernacular. But I think I've made myself clear that if your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend or it friend, I apologize, damn it, if they spring on you new genitalia, you should just take it in stride. Take it, you know, take it however you would. So we're going to move on to bondage.
Yeah, I'm quite happy to move on to bondage.
Okay, good.
This one is a longer article.
Okay, well,
I'm pretty sure that Tony, as Big Fat Tone, there.
That's offensive. I wouldn't call him fat. What are you doing? You're fat shaming one of your own chat members.
Hey, Tony, are you fat? Honey,
or Tony, are you just there's a more sensitive word for that, and I think we're overlooking it. Oh, his name's Big Fat Tony. Yes, get out of town.
His
okay.
His name is Big Fat Tone.
Oh, okay. All right, sorry. All right, well, yeah, fine then, fine.
And his response to my question was, "I'm fucking huge." So.
Oh, huge, just like the president.
Doesn't have a problem with me calling him that.
Okay, fine, Tony. You don't have to put up with that, Tony. Though, whoever named your YouTube page, you need to have words with them, because that's what we call fat shaming, and it's unacceptable in this day and age.
I believe Tony named his own channel.
Nah, that can't be right. Okay, where were we?
Okay, so we're on feministcurrent.com, and the article is, "It's not about you beyond kink shaming." Tony and I was going to do a rant about this, but unfortunately we were unable to because family issues made it so that Tony couldn't actually join my rant. His daughter broke either her arm or her leg. I can't remember which. So, you know, family's important. He had to go and look after her. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be pretty active in the chat.
Okay. I'm sure he'll take my side.
Personally, I don't mind him joining our hangout, but I will leave that up to you and him as to whether or not you guys want you guys want him to join.
I have some reservations about him joining unless he agrees with me. Then I would say, yeah, absolutely, you should join. Or you could join under the pretense that you agree with me and then just spring it on me like a spouse would new genitalia.
But yeah, so he's not able to join us. That's a shame, Han. I would love to have had you on talking about this one. For full context, in regards to this article and in regards to everything that Tony is probably going to be shouting in the chat, Tony, a dom. I'm submissive. Like being tied up and spanked. Can't help it. It's a
Cat.
Greatly enjoyed.
Cat, you should not do that. In this day and age, the only people that should be submissive in a sexual encounter are cis white males.
I'm sorry, but the little beta men just don't do it for me. I would have a guy tie me to the bed and spank me rotten.
I cannot believe I'm hearing this.
I'm very open about my sexuality and about about things like that. So I'm quite open regarding talking about it. So it doesn't bother me.
Okay, the chat better tell your friends.
Hashtag get to spanking cat. This is a hashtag I can get behind.
I'll get right to that. Linus?
Yep, you got it right. Okay, so I'm going to read this article. We'll be pausing at various points so that we can actually discuss what the Megan Murphy has said to BDSM.
Okay. And we'll never get through this article, but go ahead.
Not, but at least we will touch upon it. And Tony
true.
and I might very well do another stream on it later.
That's true. And touching on it is fine. You don't want to be too intrusive. The article. Sorry.
I was going to say, sometimes being intrusive is a lot of fun. Okay.
Oh, God.
Let's just start by saying this. I don't care about quote people. It just doesn't interest me. I don't give a shit about your leather fetish, really. But because I recently did suggest that RCMP officer Jim Brown's sadomasochistic behavior might be related to the fact that we live in a pornified world that sexualizes violence against women and male domination, it was decided by the internet, and the internet never lies, folks, that I hated, quote, kinky sex / quote, kinky people, end quote. That I simply don't know enough about BDSM to be qualified to judge images that are very clearly fetishizing male dominance, and that I think all people who are into BDSM are terrible, terrible people. Basically, the response I got was exactly the same response I get every time I critique porn and prostitution, and in fact was the exact same response I got from the burlesque community when I dared to suggest that burlesque wasn't feminist. What was that response? But I like it. It's my choice. It makes me feel good. You can't tell me what to do. Me. Well, here's a wild idea. Maybe it isn't all about you. Maybe the things that turn you on, make you feel hot, and give you orgasms aren't just about your own personal, private, individual life. Maybe the things you do are shaped by outside forces like patriarchy.
Yep.
Maybe the actions have a larger impact. Maybe you didn't spend your formative years deep asleep in a magical fairy cave, only to awaken from your slumber to suddenly and mysteriously have fantasies about hog tying and raping women. But hey, I get it. Now, I have such an issue with how she's characterized BDSM in this.
I love her wordplay and how she attributes, oh, just Megan Murphy. I've got to meet this one. She's something else.
I have a major issue with how she characterizes BDSM in this.
Why?
She has characterized BDSM as hog tying and raping women.
Well, it's a fantasy of rape.
You know that more women have rape fantasies than men?
I don't believe those. I'd like to see those numbers.
You know that 75% of people that look up rape porn, and I'm talking about the staged, actually consensual, fake rape porn that's on the internet, actually tends to be women.
That's insanity.
And the other thing is, BDSM is not rape fantasy.
It's perpetuating rape culture.
Yes, but we've already established that rape culture and rape are two different things. Therefore, rape culture and rape fantasy are two different things.
Did we establish that, or did we agree to disagree, or did we never? I stand my ground on that issue. That it is. I'll give you this. It's metaphorical rape, which is no better than rape itself.
How much are you willing to dilute the idea of rape so that people just stop taking it seriously? How much are you willing to dilute it?
I've had conservatives tell me the same thing about civil rights. I'll dilute it, as you say, if diluting it means extending it to those victims that are unaware that they are even victims.
Yeah, you have Tony in the chat here. I have hog-tied 6 subs, and every one of them is asked to have it done again. How am I raping someone if they choose to allow me to do it to them?
Tony, when you say you hog-tied 6 subs, do you mean subscribers?
No, submissives.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was about to subscribe.
But the thing about BDSM is that the moment one person, because we have safe words, we have, things that we will say, or, indications, hand signs if we're being gagged and things like that, to say, oh, we're not going any further. You are going to.
Well,
I'm going to get up. We're going to stop the sexual encounter. And in some cases, BDSM isn't even sexual.
Now, you've been watching too much Pulp Fiction. Or no, it was sexual in that, wasn't it? Bad movie, by the way. Perpetuated the rape culture and violence.
In which case, I suggest everyone that hasn't watched it, go and watch Pulp Fiction.
What? That's irresponsible of you. I stand by the idea, the notion that if you're going to engage in bondage and the like, then the submissive party has to be a white male.
No.
Otherwise, all you're doing is
the submissive party is actually the one with the more control. The submissive party is the one that turns around and goes, no, we stop. We're not doing this. They are the ones that actually hold all of the cards in their hand. I would actually state that the submissive party is the one with more dominance than the dominant. And Tony, how would you how would you take my my surmise on my very sort of over the top, skimming over the top surmise on BDSM culture? You know, if one of your submissives turned around and was like, "Nope, we're not doing this," would you stop or would you continue? Is it you that has the control, or is it the submissive? Absolutely, it does, Mark. Oh God, I just spilled my whiskey down my tits.
Oh, don't say that aloud. It perpetuates. Never mind. I'm beating a dead horse here.
Oh my God. I didn't realize my cup was quite as full as it was. I thought it was.
So Tony there has some kind of harem of submissives. Boy, I tell you.
Hey, I wouldn't object to being in Tony's harem. If he's half as good at a dom as he claims he is, I would accept. I would be more than happy.
I just feel, well, you know what I feel about that. I feel my virgin ears are bleeding. That's what I feel.
So yeah,
I'm being raped in the ears. Is that a loose enough application of rape for you?
I do believe that you are a what is it? You're a cissexual white male.
That's so accurate. I love that you're getting your terminology down.
I fucking hate the word cissexual, by the way. It doesn't exist.
You ruined it. You ruined it.
There's no such thing as cissexual. You have transgender people and people who follow the norm.
You know, you just said it. In other words, you threw me a bone and then you jerked it right out of my mouth. In which case, I would have been the submissive party. But either way, that, my friend, is mere teasing. And that's not right at all.
Hashtag whiskey tits. Yes, you know, hashtag whiskey tits. But yes, as Tony has agreed with me here, that the sub is the one that says no. If the sub says no, then it's no, and everything stops. The sub is the one that's in control.
I see what you're doing here. Yeah, it's as if the sub is an actor, and that's a role that they're playing.
Yes,
but
well, that's exactly what it is. The submissive plays the role of the submissive. The dom plays the role of the dominant. And you have to have massive amounts of trust, particularly if you're doing like heavy bondage and gagging and stuff like that, because the moment you start doing heavy bondage and a lot of tying up, gagging and stuff like that, that's when it becomes a lot harder for the submissive to turn around and say no. There's still ways of doing it.
Well, I appreciate that you're using safe words. I mean, that is at least a positive aspect of your story. I mean, when I was in the Scouts, I mean, I knew my safe words. And again, I was always the submissive party. Some adventurous times back then, by the way, by the by. But that at least gives me solace that there's a proverbial safe space.
Well, yes, you have to, and you have to have a lot of trust. You have to absolutely trust the person that is dominating you. If you don't trust them, pretty much everything is out the window. If you don't trust them, you don't trust them to tie you up. So at that point, you don't do the whole dom submissive thing. And because sometimes you have where a dominant, or rather where a submissive will be like, yeah, even if I say no, you don't stop. That's why they have safe words, so that no in that context doesn't actually mean no until they say the safe word. When they say the safe word is their no.
Why not just say no?
Because
I know why. Because no is part of the act.
Mm-hmm.
And so, see, I mean, it's like a bunch of actors going up on stage and performing like a ritual murder or sacrifice, if you will. Now, granted, they're all actors; they're all going home to their sweethearts at the end of the day. But the show that they put on for a virgin audience is despicable. You see the same thing in video games, as I alluded to earlier. And so, yes, I would fault the voice actors in the video games. And yes, I would fault the actors that are portraying this ritual murder. And yes, I would fault the DOMs and subs that are doing this, especially if they're doing it in an exposition kind of. Some of these people have to be catering to voyeurs, right?
Oh yeah, there's a whole industry catering to BDSM voyeurism, where people will sit and watch as a dominant will do things to a submissive.
Just as I suspected. And that, my friends, is where the danger lies. If I were president, I would put a stop to it yesterday. And today.
Oh, you saw Uno's comment there. Miles Upsure for president 2020.
That's right. That's right. Anything to upset this, the Führer, as it were, the Orange Führer.
Okay, well, I'm going to continue with this article now, okay?
Good luck.
Right. People are defensive about their private lives and private interests, particularly when those interests are very much attached to their identities. If your entire conception of yourself is based on being part of the BDSM community, which isn't true, by the way, I'm just adding that. People that join the BDSM community don't just have their entire conception being, oh, well, I'm a dominant or I'm a submissive. That doesn't happen. So continuing with the article. And you think that BDSM is just about the awesomest pastime ever, then it might be hard to hear critique. It might be hard to digest the fact that just because you really, really like something doesn't mean it is or should be free from deconstruction or critique. I like makeup. I wear it almost every day. I think eyeliner is the best. I think that being able to cover up my zits and under eye circles, does that make makeup an inherently good thing? Does it mean that makeup is feminist and progressive because I am feminist and progressive?
No.
Does it mean that the only possible reason I could enjoy wearing makeup is because I like it, point blank? No, I wear makeup because I grew up in a culture that scrutinizes women's looks and values their appearance above all else.
That's right.
I live in a consumer culture that invents flaws and insecurities in order to be able to sell us things that will, quote, fix our flaws. So makeup isn't really the best. There are many aspects of the beauty industry that can and should be critiqued. But it does mean that, but does that make me a terrible person because I wear makeup? No. Does it mean I'm not a real feminist because I wear makeup? Of course not. But it also doesn't mean it's perfectly fine and awesome and that I shouldn't explore or acknowledge the fact that I wear makeup because I was taught and brought into the idea that in one way or another, I'm going to be judged based on my appearance, and that I've been convinced and have convinced myself that I need to wear makeup in order to avoid looking ugly and sick. Now, I love that she jumps into makeup here.
I do too, because she's got a keen eye. I love what she's doing there. This is Megan Murphy, you say?
Yes, Megan Murphy on feministcurrent.com.
I should hire her as my next assistant, because frankly, my current assistant is a disappointment.
Isn't she your wife? Your current assistant?
Listen, I don't want to get in. I don't want to delve into the personal realm of Miles Upsure. No, my assistant is just kind of a being that I don't need to describe any more than saying it's a being.
Well, that seems to dehumanize her, surely.
I see what you're doing here, and I don't like it. I don't like it one iota. My assistant is Oh, Jesus, Cat. Well, yeah, and this is the problem with right wingers. I know you say you're center left, but right now I'm going to label you as a right winger, and you're going to take it because you said you were submissive. So please take this. And that this is the problem, folks. They tie your words into different knots and different Navy. You know how the Navy does with all the different knots. I love to see the little sailors tying those little knots in different fashions. And just I learned a little bit about that in the Scouts.
Get back onto the subject rather than talking about Navy tying knots.
I suppose, but I caution you that my story was nothing short of pure entertainment.
I'm sure it was. Unfortunately, unfortunately, it doesn't really tie into what we're talking about. So,
I love what you did there, Kat. You said it doesn't tie into it. Go on.
I didn't mean to make that pun.
Sure you didn't. Oh, I love it.
But yeah, I love that she starts talking about makeup because she's like, oh well, makeup it it's like to be a woman and everyone says that you have to wear makeup and you have to do this and you have to do that. I don't wear makeup. Am I any less of a woman because I don't wear makeup?
No, you're more of a woman. I mean, people
really.
that wear makeup, they're giving into the paternal culture. They're objectifying themselves on behalf of others.
Well, no, they're not. Some women, and my cousin is a very prime example of this, just like to wear makeup. And screw you, Mark.
They don't know why they're doing it.
I am not center right.
I'm inclined to agree with Mark.
No, I'm center left, not center right. But it's like some women just like to wear it. They feel good. They look in the mirror and they're like, "Yeah, damn, I'm looking good." Yeah, it's.
Was that Ebonics? Are you? Oh my.
And
that sounded like you were parodying. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on.
You have guys, and Kevin is a fine example of a guy that really takes care of himself. He likes to have his hair done. He likes to look good. He likes to wear good clothes. And it's the same concept. It's just they feel good doing that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to paint
that's fine with Kevin because he's a man. I mean, I think it's high time we start objectifying men the way we have women for so long.
We do objectify men the same way we objectify women.
No, not the same way. No.
Honey, if I can buy a lighter with a naked woman and a naked man on it, yeah, we objectify men the same way we objectify women. I can go on these overtly feminist sites, which I've been reading articles from, and find articles on, hey, which Olympian has the best package? How is that not objectifying men? That is absolutely objectifying men the same way we objectify women.
And there needs to be more of that. It's almost the affirmative action of sexualization.
I don't agree.
Just to make us equal, just to put us on an equal footing.
I think that affirmative action is sexist.
Oh my God. That's absurd. Do you hear yourself? After we're done, will you go back and watch this video so you can hear? Oh, gee whiz. I think is what the kids are saying nowadays.
You're a little out of date. But yeah, absolutely I hear myself. And I don't think it's sexist against men.
It is.
I think affirmative action is sexist against minorities and sexist against women.
No. I will tell you this. I need to relieve myself. My assistant should have been here with my little catheter, but she failed to arrive. And I hate to be that overt about my personal problems, but can you give me 2 minutes, at which time you can brainwash your chat all you like?
Well, I'm also going to run to the bathroom myself. So.
Okay. Well, I like that because now we're being fair and equitable. We're on equal footing.
So everybody, we'll be back in a minute or two. So yeah, have fun in the chat and keep up your conversation there. It's looking like fun. So Miles, I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, be right back.
All right, be right back, guys.
Okay, is she gone?
I'm holding my crotch, so if my voice gets a little higher in tone, please forgive me. But I wanted to stick around and talk to you guys.
I gotta go. I gotta go, folks. Hold on.
Okay, Tony, we'll see you soon, hon. And I am back. So, how's the better stand up and pee? To be honest, Linus, I actually had one of those where you could stand up and pee. You know, one of those little doodad things. Because I used to do LARP and we would do it out in the woods. So yeah, it actually came in. Fuck me, that's a big whiskey.
I was looking at it from an awkward angle. I do apologise, but hopefully you won't bother asking me again because I will have done it, and that will satisfy your feeling of obligation about the whiskey, apparently.
But yeah, I used to have one so that I could stand up and pee, so that when I was in the woods and stuff like that, it wasn't quite so bad as having to take a squat. We're talking about standing up and peeing for equality. Tits.
Enjoy your weird, sticky food to the dream.
That's a problem, isn't it? You know, when I tell you to do something, you should fucking do it. If I need a catheter, I need a catheter. Stat. In this scenario, honey, I'm the doctor, you're the fucking nurse, so do your fucking job. I'm done talking to you. I don't want to hear it.
You are not muted there, and we heard all of that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Catheter bag. Catheter bag. It's in the fucking fridge. Where were we?
We were talking about BDSM and makeup.
Ah, yes. Now, makeup objectifies the fairer of the two sex of the 79 sexes.
Well, actually, many far leftists will say that there's two sexes and many genders, and they are different.
Well, you know, when it comes to leftists, we're a assorted lot. So, you know, they don't speak for me, and I don't speak for all of them. But if you're telling me that's that's something that's appealing to the larger demographic, then I appreciate that heads up.
Well, I actually spoke to quite a prominent feminist.
You're speaking to one now, but go on.
Yep, I was going to say on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
By the name of Demotivator Opinions, and I actually asked him what the difference between sex and gender was, and he gave me a very good answer. And I don't necessarily agree with all of what he said, but it does certainly it does certainly explain what they mean by the difference of sex and gender.
And what did this person tell you?
Well, I asked the question, if sex and gender are different things, can you explain the difference? Because I'm seeing a lot of people arguing to change the laws that have what they call their gender on their official paperwork when it states sex and not gender. I'm just trying to understand, and you seem pretty reasonable. And I will stand behind what I've said there. He is actually a pretty reasonable guy, and he is he is certainly up for he's certainly someone that you could go and ask questions to, so long as you phrase them respectfully. If you just sort of go, hey, you're a cunt, by the way, I'm going to ask you this question, he will just ignore you.
I wouldn't have that issue. I don't think I've ever called anyone a cunt.
All right, so he's responded. His response to me was, I think how they decide official documents like driver's license or passports and so on is never going to be a good enough guide for what they mean. Those choices can be political or not up to date by the actual ideas of these concepts in the medical and psychological communities. They might list sex on a license where they mean gender, doesn't mean the license got the idea right. That's just how some bureaucracy it should be. I'm not 100% sure on how that sentence was meant to be phrased. To me, it's very similar. Sex is biological category you are placed in at birth based on the preponderance of evidence in the male or female direction. Gender is what you see yourself as once you have developed some ability to know who you are. For cis people, this is the same as their sex, assuming no confusion in their original classification. For trans people, it is otherwise, commonly the other main gender, male or female. I think male and female are both sex and gender categories. There are some grey area in sex called intersex. It may be possible male and female is insufficient use of this. I don't necessarily agree with that statement, but I kind of see where he's coming from there. Because gender is related to self-conception, it is absurd to believe that there can't be more than male and female. How many genders? As many as are needed for people to be able to accurately represent their own self-conception.
Agreed.
The straw man there is that means we will end up with infinite random genders. No, we won't. Male and female aren't going anywhere anytime soon. There is no danger to this, and people blow it way out of proportion. That's my take. And like I said, Tim Blake or Demotivator Opinions, I don't necessarily agree with with a lot of what he says, but I do consider him to be more one of the more reasonable people out there. He is much more inclined to have a conversation with people. He's much more inclined to answer questions, things like that. And he will answer them in a way that you can kind of see where he's coming from, kind of see where he's putting the pieces together. And it's not just a case of, well, educate yourself. It's like, fuck you. Most of the people that say educate yourself way into a conversation where they weren't even in that conversation to begin with. and they just sort of jump in and they're like, well, this thing doesn't mean that, and you're like, well, explain how it means, and they're like, well, no, you educate yourself. It's like, you fucking jumped in, you asshole.
Well, I can say that from what I'm gleaning from this, the argument is that gender is more malleable than sex. And
Yeah,
I kind of zoned out for a little bit, but I don't know if that's accurate. I do think that you need to educate yourself a little more on the topic. And I don't mean to come off as mansplaining or anything like that, but
well, my real issue with what he said is where he's talking about intersex. Now, intersex plays a part in like 1 in 100,000 people. Minute number of people that actually have intersex, and a lot of the all of the intersex people actually have some sort of genetic deviation, which causes them to have, I don't know, XY genes with a penis, or XXY genes, or XYY genes, or they're hermaphroditic, or all of these things are incredibly small,
rare but precious, I would call it.
Intersex people really don't, that really shouldn't weigh into sex. There are
Why?
two
Because it's such a small
genetic
demographic.
Yes, because it is such a small demographic, and because it is a genetic deviation that causes intersex people.
Well, that almost sounds insulting. I gotta say that I've met a few hermaphrodites in my day, and they're the nicest things you've ever met.
Hermaphrodites are no different to anybody else, and I am speaking as someone that...
No, they're nicer. They're nicer than other people.
A very, very close friend to a to a albino. Sorry, this is going to sound completely insane, but a friend of mine was a hermaphroditic albino Native American.
Well, aren't we all? I mean, in some sense. Did that come off wrong?
Probably.
I just meant that we can go on. What were you saying?
Even he turned around and he did identify as male, and he was looking at getting the operation to have his female reproductive organs sort of taken away. He was going to have a hysterectomy, and he was also going to have everything else sort of tidied up and lopped off. So yeah, he was definitely male, and even he turned around to me and he was just like, no, this whole politically correct culture regarding intersex isn't a sex, it's a genetic deviation. And that was his words, not mine. And we are talking about someone that is intersex, that would fall on the spectrum of intersectionality.
I take your friend's words with great reverence, and mainly because, going back to my days as a Boy Scout, back there in Gooberton Harbor, Massachusetts, we had a scoutmaster. He was Native American. His name was whose name escapes me. That was his name, and he taught us that in the ancient tradition of the Native Americans, a hermaphrodite was thought of as a bit of a shaman, someone who spoke with great authority when it came to the spirit world. And I took that lesson with me my whole life. And so now when I meet these things, I cannot help but hear his words echoed in my left ear. And I treat them with the utmost respect, and I don't care how small of a footprint they have on society. I think that their voices should be louder than ours in the ancient tradition of our forebears. Now, you have to admit, that was a fun story.
It was an interesting story.
Thank you.
But again, we really should get back to the topic.
Right.
We were on kink shaming. Sorry, I was just posting up the Motivator Opinions Ask FM, where if people wish to ask him questions, you're more than welcome to. He doesn't answer every question he gets, and I would, I am saying please be respectful, because I have said more than once that he does seem to be more one of the more reasonable leftists out there.
Like myself.
Quite possibly, yes. You are certainly having conversation and trying to defend your positions and stuff like that. So
I appreciate that, because it sounds a lot better coming from you than it does me. So thanks for taking the bait.
Well, I don't mind taking the bait. I can't fault you for the fact that you came on here and you are having a debate with me. The fact that you are willing to do that, and you haven't really gone down the line of I'm just going to ab-hom you.
Right.
That's...
Right. I don't do that to anybody. Miles Upsure does not call names. Isn't that right, honey? Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
So yeah. Also, I just realized something. I'm terribly sorry, but I realized that one of my moderators wasn't actually made a moderator. So
well.
So I've just made him a moderator on my channel now.
Congratulations. Who is the lucky son of a bitch?
Well, I'm waiting for him to post up and see that he's a wench.
A wench? Isn't that's part of the whole sexist? Oh my God, the sexist worldview. I mean, this is where wenches come from. The little pinch on the rear end.
Actually, Miles, the wench thing came from I made a typo, and rather than saying wench, I was like, holy shit, when did I get a wench? Rather than wrench, and it kind of stuck. So yeah, I now have it was born out of a typo.
Well, most slurs are born of comedy. It's sad but true. It's a little known fact.
I just made a guy a wench. Isn't that a good thing?
Yes, actually that's conforming with the new world, or the way of things, I should say.
So yeah, Mr. Jackson has just become one of my wenches.
Oh, I see. One of your gladiators that you bring in to debate me, and for withstanding the attacks of Miles Upshure, he's rewarded with, well, as you call it, a wench.
He is rewarded
disgusting.
by becoming a wench.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
He's not rewarded with a wench. He is rewarded by becoming a wench.
So we're back on hermaphrodites.
I would more than happily make you one of my wenches.
I'm bet
sure
you would.
You would agree. I'm not sure that you agree, but you are more than welcome to become one of my wenches.
I am a white male, so I'm the only. I mean, that is truly the only group that should be submissive. I've said it time and time again. I'm going to say it until my something bleeds.
Well, would you like to become a wench on my channel there, Mr. Upshaw?
It's Automatic's account, and
well, we could always surprise him.
That's true.
I'm into it then.
I'm gonna surprise him with a car bomb, but yeah, if that's what you'd like. I mean, Christ, his XCOM series. I'm the coward. I what the hell is up with this guy? And then the crap with the liberal outlast, that's a bunch of bullshit.
All right. Well, I think we've moved on from BDSM in this case.
Yeah, I do have to catch a flight to the left coast. So how much more time are we looking at here?
How much time do you have, honey?
Let's see. It's could we cut it off in 15 or is that too early? I hate to.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, 5 a.m. for me sounds absolutely fine. I have one left. One article left. And
Okay.
It's
I would be up to a little bit of a debriefing afterwards, so I can tell you how I really feel.
Certainly, I'm more than happy for that, hon.
Okay. Okay. Your next article.
The next article is from feministcurrent.com again, and the article's name is "You've heard of rape culture, but have you heard of pedophile culture?"
Yes, and we kind of touched on that.
We did touch on it a little bit earlier, although this is talking about the ideas around, making women look young and boyish and stuff like that, rather than actually being pedophiles.
Okay.
So, the article starts, "Dear Todd Nicholson, over at Salon a few days ago, you wrote an article provocatively entitled, 'I'm a pedophile, but not a monster.' Now, I did cover that in a previous rant. Presumably, a lot of people are now asking questions such as, is pedophilia natural, or can pedophilia be cured? But I'm not going to attempt to answer those particular questions. Rather, I'd like to further this discourse by filling in some major holes in your article. Let's start with this missing piece. The vast majority of pedophiles are men, and the majority of children victimized by the pedophiles who do choose to act on their sexual desires are girls. This is a rather major detail to withhold from your audience, wouldn't you say? Unfortunately, as pervasive and overt as patriarchy is, it is usually the last detail mentioned in conversations of this nature, if it is mentioned at all. That said, pedophilia may seem taboo and despised by the masses, but an honest appraisal of our culture at large reveals otherwise. I propose that pedophilia is actually rewarded and celebrated, and that our entire culture and understanding of sexuality is constructed around what seems to be pedophilic desire. I call this pedophile culture. In pedophile culture, women are expected to maintain a near impossible level of thinness, prepubescent in their almost
androgynous, one of my favorites.
Thank you very much. Prepubescent in their almost androgynous lack of curvature and body fat. Due to this pressure, eating disorders around young girls and women in particular are targeted throughout their lives by a $1 million weight loss industry. I am going to state that the whole, particularly in models with the size zeros and stuff like that, that was actually created by a female model by the name of Twiggy. Before that, curves and stuff like having a healthy body weight was actually celebrated in modeling. And then Twiggy showed up with her near anorexic look, and that became the norm. So it was actually created by a woman, not a man.
But she was just a victim of a sexualized culture.
No, she created that look herself. And then the idea of being a size zero and being incredibly skinny grew up around her and her modeling, not the other way around.
I'm saying she did it, but she was unconscious of that fact.
She was
Like so many.
Despite the fact that at the time it was healthy weights and curvaceous bodies that was what was considered sexy.
Right, and she was a trendsetter, no doubt there. But you know, I state that she was not conscious of the fact, the same way that the young girl that puts on makeup doesn't realize that she's setting herself up for rape by society.
I thought we'd already established that rape culture and rape are not the same thing, and in this case,
you established that. I firmly disagreed.
It's very often quoted by feminists and far leftists that rape culture and rape are not the same thing.
Well, I disagree with even those folks. Rape is a blanket term. When are we going to admit this? Just like the civil rights movement continues today, and you know the gays and lesbians have as much of a plight as the African Americans had, and that is why theirs is a struggle for civil rights. This is where I stand.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm going to continue reading the article. Okay.
I'm just saying Twiggy was a rape victim, metaphorically. I don't know if
So
she
you're
really
going
was.
to continue watering down the idea of rape. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, you can.
You call it watering down. I call it cost savings.
Uh-huh. All right, so in pedophile culture, the top Pornhub category is teen, barely legal, girls in schoolgirl outfits play everything from virgin manipulations, daddy-daughter incest fantasies, teacher-student make-believe, you name it, there's porn for it. Yes, it's the internet. Okay, how many people in the chat how many people in the chat understand the idea that if it is out there, there is porn of it?
I believe it. There's sickos in every corner.
Yeah, if it is out there, there is porn of it. This is the internet.
I'd like to see a porno, and see, I'm not into that, but if I were, of like Saul Alinsky and Margaret Sanger. Huh?
There's porn of it out there somewhere.
Oh, you might actually have me searching for porn. Or my assistant do it.
Well, she'll have to share it with you just to prove that it does exist.
That's right. We'll watch together.
All right. All right, so yeah, you name it, there's porn for it. And it's been whacked off to millions and millions and millions of times. It's fair to wonder whether the only thing keeping some of these viewers from watching straight-up child porn is age of consent laws. Influenced by the porn industry, labiaplasty, a surgery that carves the labia minora down to porn-sized slivers, is rapidly gaining popularity. So are other procedures like hymenoplasty, which restores virgin-like tightness to women's vaginas. In pedophile culture, women are outright pressured to regularly shave or wax their nether regions and underarms, and the cosmetic industry, again targeted at women, peddles anti-aging creams and lotions that will make our skin baby soft. Oh yeah, because anti-aging creams for men don't exist. That's not a thing. I've never seen an advert for anti-aging for men. Not once.
I'll give you that.
I'm sorry, but anti-aging creams? That's both genders.
Yes, I know. I have my own subscription. Yeah. We'll leave that there.
In pedophile
Plus the cream tingles. It's so nice on the skin.
I will admit, actually having like properly moisturized skin it does feel like 1,000 times better than actually, just sort of air dried skin or towel dried skin or whatever. Moisturizing does make your skin feel a lot nicer. And I'm
That's
speaking.
true. I won't deny that, and I'm not part of that culture that that perpetuates the idea that that's part of like a a pedophilia trait. I do agree with Gary there. If you don't agree with me, you're lying. I mean that much. That much I've come to that conclusion over many years.
All right, so yeah, I think I think that we can have disagreements and neither person actually be lying. We just come from it from different angles.
That's weird. Where did you get that?
Well, I think that you can come from something. Uh, let's go back to gaming for a moment.
I see. It's the hook. We're going back to where we started.
Yeah, but it's like I can turn around and go, and this is a statement I actually believe. Fallout 4 is the worst Fallout game they have released, but it is still a good game. Now, I can say that and not be lying. However, I'm pretty sure Dai is going to come in at some point here and turn around to me and say, no, actually, Fallout 4 is not the worst Fallout game. She really quite enjoys it, and, and she won't be lying. In that case, people can say two completely opposed comments and still be telling the truth. Because in that case, it is completely, it's complete opinion.
I suppose in some nuanced conversations that could be the case. In terms of political discourse, you have my party putting out facts, and then you have the Republican Party lying every step of the way in order to trip us up. And so, in that respect, I think if you disagree, you're lying.
I think that both Republican Republican candidates or Republican politicians and Democratic politicians lie.
No, don't throw us under the same bus you would throw the Repubs. At least wait for the next bus.
I think that they would lie on different subjects, but I think both lie.
You've obviously been brainwashed by the right-wing zealots in this country or in your own country.
Well, if I was brainwashed by the right-wing zealots, wouldn't I say that the Republicans don't lie and the Democrats do, rather than saying, actually, I think both lie, and I think that both on some subjects tell the truth, or at least tell their, their honest opinions on things? Both sides, on occasion, will turn around and they will say their honest opinion. And in other cases, they will turn around and they will lie through their teeth.
I'm plugging my ears. I don't have to hear this jive.
No, I can say my opinions, and I have every right to say my opinions, and you have every right not to listen to what I'm saying.
Well, fair enough, but you're lying.
Yeah, I'm not lying. It's my opinion.
Also, then I'm lying.
No.
One of us is lying.
No. We both have perfectly valid opinions. Neither of us are lying because our opinions are perfectly valid. However, they are in stark contrast to each other.
this is way too heady for me. I've adhered to journalistic integrity my entire life, and you'll see such integrity reflected in my colleagues, be them on NBC, CNN, MSNBC, not C-SPAN. That place is crap. Fox News, Jesus Christ.
Well, Gary, Gary is a local 4-pack, and I'm sorry I didn't actually say hello to you when you joined the chat. If both parties or both sides, I'm using parties and sides as interchangeable there. If both sides or both parties are lying, then both sides are lying, and neither of them is neither of them are conveying their honest opinions or the facts or anything like that.
Well, do you know how to sift through these lies? Listen to me.
No, sometimes I can sift through these facts and I can actually find the truths, and sometimes I do get conned by things, and I will freely admit, sometimes I get conned by right-wing media, and sometimes I get conned by left-wing media, and it turns out to be completely false. But
never happens on the left.
It does happen on the left. It happens on both sides.
I don't know. You might want to.
It happens on both sides of the fence, and that's one of the reasons why I actually really enjoy being quite central. And I say that I'm center left, but I am actually sort of closer to center. I am center left, but not by much. And being able to do that, and I can look at both sides, and I can see value in both sides, and I can see value in both sides of the argument in a lot of cases. I do tend to agree with a lot more leftist policies and things like that. It's the political arguments and the ideology that I have a problem with more than the actual policies that's being put into place. And and the clear sort of catering towards certain certain groups and demographics. I don't agree with catering towards certain groups and demographics.
When it's a choice between free love and Hitler's wet dream, I don't think there's a valid neutral ground.
There is a valid neutral ground, because the people that turn around and they're like, "Oh my God, they're Nazis," tend to be painting that of everyone slightly more right than them, and it's like, okay, they're more right than us, even if that more right is just slightly more right.
Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. If they're slightly more right than us, with us being on like the far left, even people on the left are like Nazis. Oh my God. And then you have the people on the right and the far right, or in some cases they're referred to as the alt-right, not necessarily accurately referred to as the alt-right.
Don't get me started on the alt-right.
They'll turn around and they'll be like, everyone slightly left of us are SJW, bullshit, fucking, and I'm going to scream and ree about them. And it's like, well, no, I'm sort of sat here left of middle, and I don't fully agree with either side. I can see the benefits of some of the things that what's quite often referred to as social justice warriors online. I can see the benefit of some of the things that they are saying and some of the things that they are fighting for. I don't necessarily agree with how they're going about it, but I can see the benefits of what they're saying. And then I can look at the other side and I can see some of the benefits of what they're saying. I can agree with what they're saying.
But social justice warriors earned that moniker for a reason. They are warriors for social justice. How has that devolved rather into an insult? I'll never understand it.
Because it's like social justice keyboard warriors. It's just shortened down. You know,
Well, we're not going to use guns.
It's those people that sort of just go "Ree!" on the
Did
internet.
you just say "re"?
Yes, I did.
That from Kekistan?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We are a marginalized people. Don't be bitching about us Pakistanis, hon.
Don't be telling the normies to get out.
I have
we normies will stand our ground.
To be honest, I have never said the normies should get out. I have said that the normies should come in and they should join us, and we should welcome them with open arms.
Well, that's very kind of you. That's very big of you.
And I believe that you said that you needed to go relatively soon.
Yeah, we should ramp it up if that's possible. Like I said, I have to. I have to get out there, and what I do is I try to get as close as I can to Rachel Maddow when she's out on the town. You know, and rub elbows if we can't rub anything else. I love that lady.
You are quite the fan of Rachel Maddow, and you know,
I have her poster above my bed.
I actually hope that you are able to catch her eye, and the two of you are able to time together and possibly find some sort of mutual love between the two of you.
That is quite possibly the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me, and I appreciate it from deep down in my loins.
Yeah, it's like I you know, if you are really serious about your love for Rachel Maddow, then I think that you should try to go for it. You know, like go and introduce yourself, and you know, have long conversations about whatever it is you guys want to talk about, and possibly cultivate a really nice, nurturing relationship between the two of you.
So you think you think there's a possibility? I mean, yeah. Do you think I'm the type of man for Rachel?
To be honest, I don't know enough about her to know what kind of man she would like. But I think that if you don't at least try to put yourself out there, then you'll have no chance at all if you don't put yourself out there. So you should go for it.
Though that's the same thing my assistant is telling me. She actually says I should try to do it in a public place. That way I can almost embarrass Rachel Maddow into opening up to me, or you know, it's harder to walk away from somebody when there's 1,000 eyes looking on. So maybe I should make my play in a public.
Don't try to embarrass her into having some sort of connection with you.
Oh, these are my assistant's words, not mine. She's
yes. Well, I'm counteracting your assistant's words. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Don't try to embarrass her into having some sort of connection with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm writing this down.
Maybe just offer her out for a coffee or something like that, and talk about your ideological similarities, or you know, whatever she actually enjoys. I'm sure you know much more about what she actually likes than I do. But yeah, you know, if you haven't lived until you at least try to put yourself out there. So, you know,
well,
go and do it. If you're really serious about trying to cultivate a relationship with Rachel, then go in relationship with Rachel.
I honestly have no idea what kind of men she's interested in, but I'm often told by my my assistant rather, that I may be just the man for her. After all, and you know, maybe if you don't mind, I'm sure you have some parting words for your audience there. If you don't mind, I'd like to say my goodbyes separately, and then give you the opportunity, give you the last word, as that nutcase Glenn Beck often says.
Certainly.
Does he say that?
Normally, what we do is a final thought on this channel. So if you would like to sum up your final thoughts and say that to the chat, or anything that you want to say, you are more than welcome to, Han.
Well, chatters or commenters, as it were, I appreciate you opening your hearts and ears to my to my ideas, and frankly to my goodwill, because that's all I intended to bring tonight was goodwill. If you think of Miles Upsure, and you should be sure to check out any of my journalistic efforts, given the time. But if you think of me, consider me a man that that embraces all minorities and embraces all sexes. I would never put a woman down. As I said earlier, if anyone should be submissive, it should be me, because I apologize for generations of slavery and sexism. I treat women and peers very delicately, and I would not raise a fist to anyone. And I'll tell you what, some of you may think that Miles is in it for the money or the fame. I don't give a hoot about money, or name recognition or any of that beeswax. And so I just want to leave you with those thoughts, those good impressions of me. And Kat, I want to thank you for having me. I'd love to stick around for your last words, but like I said, I have a plane to catch. And so, yeah, I just want to leave you with that. You know Miles Upsure now. He's a tolerant man and a good guy. How's that?
I think that is wonderfully eloquent, Han.
my assistant's laughing. Hold on. I actually, hold on. Just don't get snippy with me, you fart sniffing, twat twisting cunt cake. I spent a fortune on that Miles Upsure apparel that you're sporting. Take it off or give me my goddamn money.
Well, on that wonderful note, my final thought is, if we can't discuss with, quote, the other side, we can't expand our knowledge, and we can't either validate the comments that we are having and the ideas that we have, and, you know, make them stronger, or we can't grow as people. So from this is that everybody should at least try to be open to conversations with other ideologies and other arguments. If we live in echo chambers, our arguments become weak. So I hope everybody has enjoyed this. Yes, absolutely, Mark. Throw links out for everybody. And yourself. Please don't. Please don't hold back on throwing the link out for yourself as well. But yeah, you know, like I said, don't live in an echo chamber. That will make your arguments weak. Absolutely. Unibro's but yeah, Unibro's channel should be thrown into the chat, and I would greatly appreciate it if Mark threw the link to his channel in my chat. But yeah, this entire I'm going to put this here now. This entire stream with Miles Upsure has been satire. I'm pretty sure there's been at least one person that has thought that Miles was a real person. He's not. Sorry, not Otto.
Cat,
Fuck me, I'm drunk.
cat,
Yeah?
it's me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was a charade. Rachel Maddow is a lesbian?
Well, that
Fucking cunt. My assistant walked out. She didn't even give me back the Miles Upsure t-shirt she was wearing. This is fucking bullshit. I'm sorry, you were saying.
Well, I was just wrapping up, and I was telling everyone that this entire stream was indeed satire, because we had some at least one person in the chat that seemed to think that it wasn't. So yeah, Otto, would you like to show yourself?
Yeah, Miles Upshur is dead. It's me. Of course, you knew it was me, but the fear was that you would think that that was, I don't know, somehow a reflection of my beliefs. It's not. I don't know, Linus, you ever heard me sing?
Yeah, I also said that living in an echo chamber does make your arguments weak, and you should actually debate people on the other side of your own political beliefs.
That's true. And you should try to wrap your head around their arguments from time to time. At least
also,
get their point of view, I guess.
Yeah, also, as yourself, considering that you've done so well playing Miles Upshure in the stream, and honestly, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for joining me with this. It has been. I've just laughed so much.
I lost it a couple times, but
is there anything that you would like to say as yourself, as automatic, that in regards to a final thought?
Yeah, I think a pretty important thing. The views and opinions expressed by Miles Upshur in no way represent those of Automatic.
And yeah, I did throw out your link to your channel.
Yeah, I tried to pay attention to the chat, but I spent most of the night with my eyes rolling into the back of my head, trying to think of what next absurdity was going to come out of my mouth. But
and I think I might go halves with Mark on that bottle of scotch.
I don't really demand that, but I appreciate it.
But yeah, it's been absolutely amazing having you here, and I've absolutely loved every minute of it. And I genuinely love
Miles.
people might very well hate me for this, but I genuinely love Miles. I think he's an awesome person. He is such a lolcow. But yeah, he is awesome, and I love him to bits.
So you did catch the way he speaks to his assistant, right?
Absolutely, it's so bad, but yeah. But yeah, I'm genuinely appreciative of everyone that has joined us tonight, whether they realize that this was satire or not. And I'm so thankful that you agreed to do this with me today, Otto. And much loves to Miles Upshure.
I'll tell him you said so. No, I've had this is probably the most fun I've had in a stream. No offense to anybody else's stream that I've been in, but this was fun just because it was, well, I mean, it was fucking off the wall, to be honest. I don't think I've ever engaged in anything like this.
But yeah, it's been absolutely awesome having you here.
It's
and I really want to thank my other guest in Mark Jackson. And everyone should go and subscribe to his channel as well, because he is just fucking awesome. And
And Mark, I apologize for anything I said as Miles Upshore.
oh my god, I'm so drunk right now. I've had something like 6 whiskeys. I have drunk half a bottle on my own. Fuck me.
Is Mark going to listen to this, or was he listening?
He wasn't actually here. He was role playing.
That rat bastard. We were role playing. Why wasn't he listening?
I can't spell Jackson. What the fuck?
And when naming the people shot by quote unquote racist cops, Miles ran out of people. So he said something like Skippy Bojangle, and then he said Tito Jackson. Michael Jackson's brother.
Mark, I can't spell to save my life. Please throw your channel out in the chat, because you are an awesome person and you really deserve more subscribers than you have. Same goes to Otto. Please throw your channel out in the chat.
Tell you what, I'll throw Mark's. There we go.
I was trying to send out the to send out the YouTube links, but I'm so drunk I can't spell, and apparently it doesn't like to it doesn't like my my links, despite the fact that I'm the owner of the channel. And
that's fucked.
On that bombshell, I have been Sushikat, and I hope you all have a fantastic day or night.
And I've been Otto, and I appreciate you tolerating me.
All right, bye.